Hello, and thank you so much for joining us for your Ring of Honor and Impact post-show for October 19th. We are coming down the home stretch of the year. It is prime white girl season, okay? This is what it's all about. This is where I win. This is where I come back, okay?
If you zoom down, she has UGG boots on right now.
That's right. I got my Mocha Choca pumpkin spice bullshit with me all the time. This is where I win. This is my season from here on out. But we have a lot to talk about on Ring of Honor tonight, and Impact has their Bound for Glory post-show, which has some crazy stuff going on, which I'm very excited to see and hear about. Will Ospreay and Mike Bailey, what is happening in the wrestling world? Things are cooking good lookings.
Crazy.
But we ask you to please go over to Fightful Select and subscribe. Lots of great stuff there. If you like to get into like the nerdier side of things like I do, you can find out who produced certain matches. I was very curious about who produced Bronson Reed and Gunther this week because that was a banger. So head over there for that, as well as the news that was broken that Triple H is back in control in WWE, which is good news if you watch WWE programming, in my opinion.
You can tell. I can tell. We can tell.
Pretty immediately. So head over there for that and more. You'll also get a lot of bonus podcasts, including me and Alex Pulaski doing your pay-per-view post shows as an alternative over there to what's on the main channel. Sean has his Q&A there. You get continuations of things, including things like Ask Rhapsody, which got taped earlier today by this fella, who's had a busy day today. We've had a list released, which it seems like, I feel like the conversation from what I've seen has been a little bit nicer than some other lists that we've seen, which is refreshing.
No.
Maybe it curated properly. No, same bullshit. All right.
Thanks for everybody though for the list. The response has been crazy. All the wrestlers are great. It's just me trying to get some shine on these people. 500 black wrestlers, or 4 and some if you get technical. But we're not getting technical here. 500 of the best black wrestlers. Go and find your favorite wrestler, or just give it up to your favorite other people you don't like or whatever. I don't know. Who cares? Thank you, everybody. You're very cool. My brain is destroyed. There's so many wrestlers still in my brain. I'm just like, Miles Hawkins. And it's like, why are you thinking of that? Like, it's just,
just in and out,
just
right?
fly across my brain at any time. So thank y'all.
Well, that is a ton of work, sincerely. So congratulations on getting that done, getting it out there. I thought you did a great job with it. There's a lot of really great wrestlers in general. There's a lot of really great black wrestlers. There's a lot of great women's wrestlers who there was a list released for today as well. So some really good stuff, and congratulations on getting that behemoth of a list marked off. Good stuff. Guys, getting your super chats and your humper chats, just like Matthew Hooks did. Thank you so much, Matthew, for saying, just got home from Dynamite. Great show. ROH, good. I'm assuming this might have been sent in yesterday.
Yeah, I was like, Dynamite? Is that Dynamite? Today? Must have been yesterday.
It must have been yesterday. This felt like, I don't want to say a filler episode, but more of like a connective tissue episode where we still saw things develop, but it's not like no major developments, I would say, maybe outside of like what happened with Ethan Page and stuff. But solid. And you know what I appreciate? If there's not so much happening, this was closer to an hour and a half long. So it wasn't like, here's a trios match for literally no reason. Like everything still felt more cohesive to me today. What were your overall thoughts on ROH before we dive in?
I thought there were some pretty interesting things, the Ethan Page thing being the most interesting things. But some people we saw here, Marty Bell, I thought was just great. Been requesting that, and you guys executed. So there was some ups, and I thought there was some in the middles. I don't think there was too many downs, though.
I agree. There was some stuff that just kind of kept the engines moving, and then a few standout things. So we are going to dive into all of it. And, of course, stay tuned on the back end for the Impact post show, because they've got a big one coming up around the bend. But we started off with something that actually surprised me in how much I liked it. We got Angelico defeating Gravity with a convincing win. He locks in that half crab submission that always looks great. Very, very smooth operator in there. A spot in here that I liked was Gravity hitting that around the world sunset flip, and then Angelico countering it into that triangle choke really beautifully. Yeah. And then Gravity power bombing his way free this was kind of my favorite showing for Gravity. This is like the most convincing that I think Gravity has looked. And I just liked it. I feel like he got to show out in ways that maybe he normally doesn't. I don't know if it was just comfort with Angelico in there or what it was, but something clicked in extra tonight. He's always been kind of like a serviceable guy or a good worker in my mind, but this was the most impressive I feel like that I've seen from Gravity. But I actually ended up really liking how we kicked off the show tonight, and Angelico continuing to feel important and win. Feels like maybe we're getting away from the SAP stuff, which you and I had been requesting, not only for the name theft, but also just didn't really ever fully fit in as to what they were doing there. But Angelico looking great in this opener. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a sleeper match, I want to say. I don't know if you can really say that because I don't know, but this match really hit. Angelico's little extra thing that they got going for him now, getting him ready for Eddie Kingston, I think it's really awesome because we get matches like this. You're like, oh shit, Angelico really can go. And then Gravity, I think, yeah, he's been in a position of like, he's really good. And then, but if like you compare him to the other luchadors, you're like, okay, I see he has work to do. But today was like, oh, okay, I could see what he really can do. And Angelico's just a good guy for luchadors like that. Thought this was a great way to start the show.
Yeah, I think Angelico has been a little lost in the shuffle. Seeing him get on a track is great. We've been saying that the past couple of weeks, but this being a really great example of that is he's incredibly smooth with some more acrobatic stuff, but then he's just locking in triangle chokes out of nowhere like that. Yeah. That's a really interesting kind of foundation from a wrestling perspective. Really, really, really cool to see. We're going to talk about the fact that I am Minion 690069 in a minute here shortly. I just saw Meet Normus's chat out of the corner of my eye, and I'm so excited because it arrived. But we got some more to talk about before we get to that right away. We're going to talk about this Righteous promo a little closer to the match. So we'll move on to Sean Dean with Trish Adora defeating Peter Avalon, who you know I love, who had Ryan Nemeth in his corner. The finish here is Sean Dean knocking out Peter Avalon to the mat with that last salute splash for the win. A spot in here that I loved was just my dude, Peter Avalon, reminding us that he can wrestle in addition to being very, very silly. Yeah. We got a flurry of offense in here, getting a couple of near falls with that super kick into the Death Valley driver. Just nice to see him getting some reps. Like he is so reliable in that he is going to tell a story. He's going to make you look good. He's going to make himself look good in the process. Like just a very, very reliable hand and very entertaining in doing so. But we got to get the infantry back on track with some wins here. They know my conspiracy theory about MJF now. They're like, she figured it out. We got to switch up the playbook.
Let's split them up.
We got to get Sean Dean some solo wins to keep them away from MJF.
Come on.
But fun and good to see the infantry standing tall here and Sean Dean standing tall at least. Any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, where's Carly at? What's going on here? But anytime Sean Dean gets to go in there and get a good win, that's great. Peter Avalon, I love him being here in Ring of Honor. I think he's really good. That's a really good position for him. I don't really understand why they haven't been using him because he's a really serviceable wrestler. So California legend. I'll give it up for Peter Avalon. He's a great guy. Ryan Nemeth is just waiting around for his brother to finally show up. He's like, I'll play any position here until my big bro shows up. Then we're lit all the way 100%. So yeah, I'm good with it.
Agreed. And I would actually love to see the Wingmen and ROH as like a fixated staple there. I feel like there's so much fun to be had between the Wingman and Dalton Castle and the boys. Like just seeing Peter Avalon and Dalton Castle in like a 6-week feud would absolutely pop me. It could be a ton of fun, but good use of Peter Avalon here. Right. Great to see him back as well.
And Trish Adora is here with Sean Dean, so that's good.
It is good. Steps. I would like to see her get on track, but I did appreciate that she wasn't taking losses because she's getting into the territory where it's like, okay, now she's starting to feel unimportant. So we did see some more women's talent that I'm excited to see come in here, as were you. Marty Bell here in Ring of Honor versus Mercedes Martinez. Rolling elbow into a tree slam and locking in that guillotine for the win here is Mercedes Martinez. I really liked the opening here where Marty Bell just like had her in submission really quickly. She looked really good here. Her job was to come in here and give Mercedes a dominant win, but she always makes the most of her screen time. I, like you, am very happy to see her around. Support Hex workers. I say it all the time. We gotta support the Hex. Love her and Allison Kay. Good stuff. But why don't you tell us, because you said you were so excited to see Marty Bell, as was I, but you can speak to her value a little bit here as well beyond what we saw in the match, if you'd like.
Yeah, I feel like they're so strong as a tag team, but Ring of Honor and women's tag teams isn't the strongest division over here. So I can take both of them in
the Renegades.
Yeah, it's just that we can't just have the Hex and the Renegades just going back and forth for the next 100 weeks. I mean, a couple times would be great, but that can't be the only thing. But yeah, they're so strong as a tag team, her and Allison, that I'm going to take them either way. And they were both featured on the episode today, so that was great. The work that they did in NWA is insane. If you haven't seen any of it, them together is just a great team. They work really extremely well together. Marty Bell is great on both sides of the ring, offense and defense. We got to see more of her on defense here today because Mercedes is an unstoppable force at this point. But you can see what you get. She shines. She has charisma. It's really likened to Willow in the kind of like you just want to see her win and you just smile when she's on the screen. So happy to see more of her. If we can get some more women's tag teams here, Kate, I'm all in, and seeing the Hex together would be awesome. So it's all great to me, but it's great to see her here.
You, me, and Tony P both. Tony P saying good show tonight. So the Hex coming to ROH AEW. Now, I had said it would be very cool and a good use of women's wrestling minutes to have ROH tag belts that can float up to the AEW programs when needed. So when you have Penelope Ford and the Bunny, when you have things like we had the Diamante and Mercedes pairing, there's something that makes sense for them to go after. Sean replied to me when I tweeted that and said they should float them with the New Japan Strong program as well. And I thought that could be one of the coolest things for a partnership that we've seen in all of wrestling, because New Japan Strong doing some sneaky great work. Don't let it fool you. There's some really fun stuff going on. I think everybody's aware of like, oh, the Bullet Club's reinvigorated and TMDK was fun when they were on. Strong Brand is also doing really, really great stuff. I would love to see that because it kind of alleviates the pressure of fighting to consistently have stories. Shouldn't be that way. But to consistently have women's tag stories, it's let's be honest, like it's something that's a pain point on American women's television. Right. If you had it floating between three brands, only one of them really has to kind of hold on to the stake of it, and you can do some really fun interpromotional stuff as well. So,
and you can tell the story on Ring of Honor every week because the other ones aren't as active, and you can continuously tell the story over here while defending them on the other shows.
Yes, and it would make a little bit more sense than what we're seeing now, which is absent champions. If it's a clarified partnership, makes a little bit more sense.
Correct.
Makes a little bit more sense, but very happy to see both Allison Kay and Marty Bell here, to your point. Seen Allison a couple reps, we know, but to your point, when they're together too, they offer such completely different things that it's really fun, because I love tag teams and I love trios that do this, where if you're prepared for one of them and you get the other, you're dealing with an entirely different thing, right? So if you're like, I was just got my ass kicked by Allison Kay, and then all of a sudden you can't get your tag and they do, and here comes Marty Bell, it's like, well, damn. I'm up against a completely different animal. Yeah, so fun stuff there. Absolutely love to see it. We got a fun backstage here from Athena and Billie Starks, which brings us to what's really the main event, Reg, because, I ordered my Minion shirt as soon as I possibly could. I got my paycheck, and I was like, I got to order this Athena shirt.
Yep.
And then Shane Haste was like, hey, buy my shirt. So I was like, there you go. Now I'm beating the shipping charges.
And Athena did respond when you said, I got the shirt. That's how we got to
Reg,
to this.
I gave myself number 69, and she, the queen herself, the fallen goddess herself, said, you are number 690069, which I'm pretty sure means I'm 69 boobs 69.
Yep.
So we're gonna make it official.
69 I got my Sharpie. Boob 69. Yep.
Right. Oh my gosh, where'd my Sharpie go? What did I do with it?
Oh, can't find the Sharpie.
Oh no.
Wow, can't join the Minions without the Sharpie. This is gonna be it's not official. It's never going to be official. Boom.
I got it.
You work in pro wrestling. That's why.
That's it.
Live on the show. Who's doing it like this?
Nobody's doing an ROH post show, first of all.
I'm like,
except for us and our friends at Love Wrestling. Actually, our own Robert D. Felice is over there on their Twitch with Kyle Sparks, who's filled in. We love them. But there you go. And I gotta say, I'm pretty proud of my penmanship on this. I did an all right job.
Nice. Oh, look at that. It's official.
It's official, baby. And I'm going to wear it in public and explain it to no one. I am Minion 690069. I need to get to my Minion training. I am out of shape. I haven't told Tony Khan that Willow sucks at all. Like, I am not in Minion training shape, but I am officially a Minion.
Yes,
it feels right.
I'm happy for you.
It feels right. But Athena in this backstage telling Billie Starks to amp up the aggression, basically, and we'll circle back to that in a little bit in their match, unless you had anything you wanted to discuss about it.
No, not too much happened here.
Not a ton, just setting up the match that's against Diamante later, which is great. We saw the interplay between them before. So good stuff. But Reg, as you know, I'm a nerd. Okay, I like rules.
I've learned.
I like time limit. You go, I've learned. You're like, I just want to see Flippy do shit. I don't need your stupid rules. I don't need your you got closed fist punches. Great. Listen, wrestling brings different things to the table.
Sure.
I like this nerdy shit. Pure Rules is for me. If we get what I thought was a fun match between Josh Woods and Pat Buck, because we saw Pat Buck's veteran smarts coming into play in this. Our judges for this are Jimmy Jacobs, Madison Rain, and Christopher Daniels. But we get some fun stuff here. Now, the finish is Woods going back to the knee, hitting that gut wrench power bomb, and then locking in his submission for the win. The Woods lock always looks very nasty. But what was amazing to me was this was a shorter match, but they told a lot of story in it, and it was pretty much centered around Pure Rules, which made me really happy. They put up the Pure Rules graphic in the beginning, which I think is a good sign. I think they're like, we got to refresh these people on what we're doing a little bit. But we saw some rope break chess being played early in this. We saw the closed fist punch come into play despite the distraction from Mark Sterling in this. I just like when people use the rules to their advantage. And Pat Buck was like, well, I'm a little bit older. I'm probably not going to beat this guy. He's an absolute monster in the ring. So let me see if I can outsmart him is why I like rules. It's not only because I'm a dork. It's because I think it makes for good storytelling in situations like this. I thought this was a lot of fun and that they really maximized what wasn't much of a story going into it.
Yeah, I thought, remember last week we were just like, what is this match going to be? And it was better than I expected. Pat Buck is a really smart wrestler, and he played into it during the match. Josh Woods isn't very difficult to have a fun match with. All you have to do is kind of be in there,
exist.
Let him, exist. You're existing in the ring with him. You're good. He's such a big personality that when he just gets his onslaught on, you're like, okay, this is a great match regardless, because Josh Woods is cool. Pure Rules. If he's going to be the one to represent Pure Rules, Kate, I'm all in for it. Josh Woods, he'll be the guy. Let him beat Shibata. I don't know. Let's go on. Let's get into this. But yeah, I thought it was way funner than expected. If we see more of Pat Buck is one of those guys that's like, he's a producer for AEW, but like he can still go and he can still be in positions like this. So if he can have a match or two randomly, I'm in for it.
Now, I will say I'd prefer to see younger talent in these spots, maybe other people that would be in the Pure division. However, the story that was told had to do with his veteran status. So I kind of like it from that perspective. Like that part made me really happy of like, all right, well, if you're going to use an older dude here, like at least it's with intent and it played into things. But like, can we also have a Pure division?
I'm like, how old is Pat Buck? Because we're making him sound like he's 100. You're like, if we're going to use this old grandpa in the show, I'm
back
like,
in his day, he fought Billy Robinson in the Pure division. No, like, I just
Pat Buck's like, dude.
She's like, lay off, bitch. Damn. I run the only promotion that's not GCW in your backyard right now. Come on.
You're going to see him at a show soon, Kate, and he's going to know.
It's gonna be like, oh, am I too old to give you admission?
Let me get my walker to walk over to you.
I just mean that he's probably not gunning for the pure title anytime soon in a sincere way, but good stuff. I thought this was, to your point, more fun than I expected it to be, because last week we kind of both raised an eyebrow of like what the heck is this? Now, here's something that is exactly what I thought it would be, and that is Cole Carter and Griff Garrison in a backstage and in a match defeating Myron Reed and Ren Jones here.
Yes.
Our pre-match promo is Cole Carter giving Maria a shirt where he's says Hot Moms Heart Pro Wrestlers.
They're still doing this, Kate.
They are. I'll give them this. They're extremely committed to it.
They are. Committed to the bit all the way.
Which I, as someone who's committed to bits constantly, I respect that.
Exactly.
However, it's a really bad choice.
The bit is not really like, I don't know if this is the bit to continue to commit to.
There it is. There it is. Because I don't really think Cole Carter has any other personality traits outside of this, so it's not working. Griff Garrison being as over it as I am is nice, though, I will say. And in the match that we get, you kind of see him start to buy into things at the end, and that's at least some sort of development here. You do have Griff Garrison getting a blind tag and hitting the ripcord elbow on Jones before Cole Carter, your favorite, comes in and hits the Dominator for the win. So you see him being like hesitant in this whole thing, but they get the W here. So you got to start questioning. I'm assuming Layla Hirsch is starting to realize that she might actually need Maria as well. So some good development on this front. What did you think of? I know you're like basically a Cole Carter stan account at this point, but what did you think of all this?
You would think with him being so infatuated with something I am also so infatuated with that this would be my favorite. He'd be my favorite wrestler in the world. And maybe it's on the way, I think, Meek Normus. I am very interested in the shirts.
Meek Normus asking, did Reg get an I Heart Mom shirt?
The issue is I'm such a big Mike Bennett fan that I'm like, you need to stop disrespecting Mike Bennett and Maria in my face, Cole Carter. That's crazy. They're great people. They're married. They have kids. They're amazing. We love them. We don't want to see you trying to offer her a shirt and trying to be skeezing around her, you damn person. But regardless of that, we get to a super bright spot for me because in the match is one of my favorites, number 12 on the BW 500. Making his re-debut into Ring of Honor, Myron Reed. If you guys don't know about Myron Reed, they only gave you a little piece of the puzzle tonight. But this guy is phenomenal when he gets going. He didn't get to really get going, and I was upset because I'm like, these two, they got Griff Garrison and goddamn Cole Carter beating them. Well, this is Myron Reed, but it's fine. You got to slow walk the dog into your career here in AEW. Hopefully there's more for Myron Reed. And Ren Jones also looked awesome in this match too, also on the BW 500. Super dope to see Myron Reed here though, and I'm happy that he got that position. And good for they're developing more story in Cole and Griff Garrison. And Hot Mom shirt, I'm into it at the very least.
I mean, if for no other reason than Hot Moms are involved here, but yes, very, very cool to see Myron Reed getting a little bit of shine here. To your point, someone that I found out about probably over the past year and a half or so. I want to say it might have been your list last year that turned me on to him, possibly. But a fantastic talent. And to your point, this is only the crack of the door opening for what this guy is capable of. One thing that's great about ROH is when we see talent like this, we can tell you to go check them out when we love them and champion them. So please do go check out more from Myron Reed. Just a fantastic talent and good stuff here. But we move along to this Dalton Castle backstage, which I very happy to see him consistently on television. He says he knows that people love when he's on television, and he doesn't want to let anybody stop him from getting in the way of what the people of ROH wants. and that there's been a lot of ordinary on ROH, and that he's here to make ROH television extraordinary. To which I say, in my best Bobby Fish impression, where's the lie? Because we've been waiting for some breakout programming here, and feels like we're headed in that direction. But Dalton Castle, always great to see him around. Any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I like Dalton Castle. I want to see him win a championship. Like, I think he should be the one to beat Samoa Joe still. I don't know. This got me thinking this episode, like, where's Mark Briscoe? Is Mark Briscoe still injured? I'm interested in that too. But yeah, I think Dalton Castle, there should be more. He's right. What he said in his promo. It's ordinary. We need extraordinary, and he's the guy to do it.
I agree. I do feel like, and SP3 said this on one of the times he subbed in for you a while back, like, it does feel like they're just waiting for Mark Briscoe now. Like, it does feel like we're kind of stalling, because I think you would have either put it on Dalton Castle or Shane Taylor already. Like, there hasn't been a lot happening with Samoa Joe beyond that. So, my guess
He's trying to win the AEW World Championship.
I know. I would love to see that for Samoa Joe. That would make me very happy, because he's earned it of anybody in this industry. But I want to see Dalton Castle feeling important somewhere, but it's hard to do when your titles are held hostage on another television program. I don't want to be too negative, because we've gotten some good stuff of recent, but always being negative is Matthew Plus saying, I vote to replace you two with Nia Jax and Cole Carter. You've said a lot of mean stuff to us, okay? That might be the meanest. That is so rude.
Replace just Kate with Nia Jax and then keep me. I mean, we might. I mean, let me hear you out.
You're shipping me out of town?
Wait, I mean, if Nia Jax is on the other side, I just want to just maybe for 1 or 2 episodes she could sub in. I have questions.
This is so rude. I can't believe you.
I just have questions, Kate. That's it.
2 weeks ago, you gave me 4 hours notice you're not going to be here. Then on occasion, you're
game is the game.
Skipping out, hanging out with big wigs, leaving me out to dry. I try to hold it down, and you're going to ship me off for Nia Jax?
I'm trying to hang out with another big wig. Her name is Nia Jax. That's why I'm trying to have her on.
Look, you know what, though? I can't.
She wears some big wigs, doesn't she?
They're not like most wigs. I'll say that. Look, I can't deny it. When we had Mansoor on, and we got like 7,000 more views than we normally do. All right, we get some when the stars come around. We do pop some ratings here on Fightful. So
you see it.
It still hurts my heart a little bit, but we move along. So what I think we could call maybe our upset of the evening, which was Tony Nese and Ethan Page.
Yeah.
With Tony Nese coming out with the W here. I misspoke last week, I guess, when I said this is going to be a nice win for Ethan Page. Tony Nese has been kind of building up, but obviously Ethan Page is going to win here. But that's not the case. We get Tony Nese cheating with his feet on the ropes and then mocking Ethan Page. And after demanding a handshake, Page reluctantly goes for it, and then Nese pulls away in a very 5th grade spirit. And then Page punches him, which is great. It goes to hit Mark Sterling with an ego's edge. Nese pulls him out of the way, and they run off. Interesting.
What did you think about this, Kate? The whole time I was like, what? Now? What happened here? What happened here?
I'm intrigued by this because I think we're setting up for Ethan Page versus Eddie Kingston. And I'm all for face versus face stuff. I don't know if Ethan Page and Eddie Kingston are different enough faces that you can pull that off. And I think Ethan Page belongs on the heel side of stuff. I don't mind him as a face at all, but him as a heel is the money. I don't want him with Mark Sterling and Tony Nese. No. But if you use this as a way to get him to turn heel, him beating him up after felt like, oh, maybe we're leaning in a bit of a heelish direction. Right. I would love for him to turn heel before facing Eddie Kingston, whenever that might be.
Why do they think this guy needs a mouthpiece? We've heard him talk. He could talk for himself. He doesn't need anyone.
And least of all, no offense to Mark Sterling, it just feels like a mismatch of the type of manager that you would pair Ethan Page with. But him on the mic is why I'm always shouting about this guy from the rooftops. He's great. Right. So I don't want it to be a long-term thing. but him beating him up after felt like maybe there's a heel turn in there somewhere. But let him talk, let him fly on his own. He's already he's ready to be a star. He's right there for you. I don't think we need that. I am interested to see him and Josh Woods on the same side of things.
Okay.
I don't think either of them need Mark Sterling, but I'm like, that's an interesting little duo to me. But this was definitely a sneaky little swerve on the program. I don't hate it. I want to see where it goes. What were your thoughts on all this? Because this was odd.
I don't hate it, but it's like Tony Nese is in a weird position at the moment because, like, for a while he was just a big loser on this show, and he was losing every match, and then he started to do this thing and got a little bit over. Now they're giving him wins. He's had a couple of questionable wins where I'm like, okay, but you guys have told me to believe that Tony Nese is a loser. That's what you guys have told me. I don't think so. I think he's a great wrestler. I'm glad they're finally turning the tables on him. But was this the week to do it on Ethan Page? I thought we were building up to Eddie Kingston. And usually when you're building up to a champion, you have the guy get a bunch of wins. He had all of his promos were about his win streak. I guess if we're going to heel, this does make a lot of sense, though. So, and I do prefer Ethan Page as a heel because I think his mic work is even better as a heel. So it's like this. I'm confused because it was Tony Nese. They could have used somebody else, but that tells the story. But I don't want him to be with Mark Sterling, so I'm in a roller coaster of emotions.
No, I'm with you. I'm in the same cycle that you are, where heel Ethan Page, I think, is something we both agree on, but we don't think he needs a mouthpiece. And if he is going to have a mouthpiece, we don't think Mark Sterling is necessarily the fit. Yes. That all makes sense. I think. Especially when Stokely Hathaway's still kicking around there.
I almost threw my headphones when you said Stokely Hathaway, because him and Ethan Page is just like a great. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like the firm, I felt like, is something that was underutilized. Like, I always thought that the pieces of that made a lot of sense. And then it just all kind of fell apart. But we will see what is in store for Ethan Page. I will say I'm intrigued, right? Yes. Like, I'm patient enough to let this part play out because it feels like they have a plan. I like it when they have a plan.
They're telling a story.
They are telling a story, which maybe that's why we're so jarred by it. We're not used to getting the stories on ROH for so long.
What is this?
We're like, storytelling. Remind me. I'm going through my Pure Rules rule book. Like, where's stories? I don't remember this.
Bring on the luchadors, dude. I want to see some flips. Y'all are confused in my brain.
Put flippy do shit on. Where's my spot poo?
It's my palate cleanse.
That's right. Me enormous with the chat saying, sup, Reg and Minion 690069. As always, Athena was the MVP of the show. Why can't we get her on Dynamite squashing a hussy and coaching Billie? This is Billie Starks versus Diamante, which was a very fun match.
Yep.
We got that bring out the aggression promo earlier, but Billie Starks getting a flash roll up here on Diamante, which I thought was great because I think it makes Diamante stay looking very strong in this. Super fun match. Definitely different styles. Billie Starks continues to be just a super magnetic force in the ROH women's division, but Diamante and Mercedes attacking Billie Starks and Athena after the match. Athena and Starks eventually chase them off with a steel chair. So this is so fun, like this will they, won't they alliance between Athena and Billie, because I think I read it as Billie knows that Athena is making her a better wrestler, and she's amused by how serious she is. But there's always a line with Billie Starks, right? Like, we're not going to beat down people who have already been murdered by a powerbomb from Athena after the match. Like, so they continue to kind of flirt with that line a little bit, and I feel like that's ultimately what's going to break them here. This is fun. If it's leading to a tag match, I'm all for it. Athena certainly had her number of defenses. If you want to take a quick break from all the defenses and put together a tag program, it's going to be a productive one. All four of them will look great in this. I thought this was super fun and a great way to continue a story that it felt like they'd kind of dropped off on, picking it back up here. Good stuff.
Yeah, I thought there were a lot of good layers to this. Billie Starks. I like Athena earlier saying in the promo that she's mad at Mercedes and Diamante for getting one up on her. Nobody gets one up on her, and so she has to get one back up on them. Billie Starks beating Diamante is cool because I think that might be setting up Billie Starks defeating Mercedes Martinez, which I think would be a really big win for her going into whatever they're going to do here with Athena. Billie Starks still being bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and like, oh my God, I'm with Athena. And in the middle of the match, like celebrating and getting caught up because she's still a little girl. She's still 18 years old and all this stuff. So her still being caught in the moment of the lights and being there, but still getting the win and still learning a lot from this partnership with Athena, I think is great for her story. And she's continuing to get better. She already was really good, but I think learning from Athena, kayfabe or not, I think is helping her so much. You could just see it in how she works now.
I agree. I feel like we're seeing her mature in ring week over week. Maybe because she's also not like going to high school, which is just the most insane thing in the world to me. But she's looking great. She really is coming along quite nicely in all of this. And Athena,
in 10 years, we're gonna be like, yo, I can't believe we got to watch this journey. What the hell?
I really think you're right. I really think you're right. She's just it's so contagious how excited she is about this. Like she's very excitable in the ring, and it's fun. It's fun to see. Guys, stay tuned for your Impact post show that's on the other end of this. We appreciate all the support. We see you guys filtering in late a little bit. Your ROH post show will be on in about your Impact post show will be on in about 20 minutes or so from now. But we invite you to please leave a thumbs up on this video if you would be so kind. It helps boost us in the algorithm. And we, of course, invite you to subscribe to FightfulSelect.com as well. Tons more news coming out. 2024 is going to be an enormous contract year. There's a lot of free agency on both sides that's going to come into play, I think. Sean certainly thinks so. He thinks it's going to get chaotic in a fun way coming up here in 2024. So much coming up with Full Gear and Survivor Series as well. Stay tuned to FightfulSelect.com for more. While we stay tuned to more great women's wrestling.
Yes.
Kiera Hogan is looking awesome lately, man. I mean, she always looks good. But she's looking awesome in the ring as well. Defeating Allison Kay here. Commentary doing an incredible job putting over Allison Kay's accomplishments in NWA, talking about her veteran status, keeping her protected in the loss as much as they did in the ring. But Kiera Hogan knocking her out with a drop kick off the top rope here and following it up with the face of the music for the win. A spot in here that I loved was Allison Kay cutting off that wheelbarrow attempt and sending her up for a really nice looking German suplex. She's got a great German suplex.
Oh, that German.
Allison Kay. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. When you see like a perfectly executed German suplex, you're just like, damn, this is wrestling. I love this.
Yes.
She had one of those in here tonight, but Thursday nights is where it's at for women's wrestling. I guess we've seen a lot of great women's wrestling all week, actually, but man, I love it on my ROH.
I feel like you said that last Thursday, which means we're continuing good wrestling. As long as you keep saying that sentence every Thursday, I think we'll be good. Like a great week of women's wrestling. This was another great match. Kiera Hogan is on fire. Pun intended. She did the fire thing in while wrestling, whatever. I know how to bring it around. I'm interested in this Allison Kay thing, Kate, because we've seen her pretty consecutively here on Ring of Honor. And like, does she have a deal? Is Marty going to also get a deal? What's going on here? They're great additions to the roster, regardless of what's going on. So it's great to see. This match is really fun. I think Kiera is in a position to benefit off of whatever happens with Athena and Billie Starks, kind of be next up. If she keeps kind of like playing this position that she's in, having great matches, getting her character over, looking good, she's going to be one of those next position. Actually, if we kind of look at the landscape of the ROH women's division now, Kate, there's a lot of contenders for Athena. I mean, I know she just had the match with Layla Hurston. She just lost, but she's still there. Willow's coming back up. We got Kiera, Diamante, Mercedes, Billie somewhere out there. Like, these are all like really viable contenders for Athena's championship. So whenever she gets back to that, we're lit.
I agree. And we saw Lady Frost too. I think
Lady Frost,
Lady Frost and Trish Adora are ones that you can beat up at any time, right? So it's like, even though they're not on fire right now, Lady Frost a little bit more so. She's, I think, getting out of 50-50 land a little bit.
Lady Frost on fire. Is that possible?
We might have Fire and Ice back. under a different two wrestlers. But yeah, there's a lot of really kind of quietly, this division has really formed around Athena's stronghold on it. And everybody wanting to go after her that's always a fun champion to me. They're doing it with Gunther and WWE, that constant those workhorse champions usually have a lot.
Max of everybody being like, I want that championship. I'm Samoa Joe. I want that championship. I'm Jay White. I want that championship. Like everybody being like, I want to be champion, dude. This isn't a secret. You know what I mean?
Yes, 100%. And it's so much more. I like when there's balance in your program too. So to your point, now that's happening with MJF, and it's like, well, yeah, because Christian Cage is probably getting into a long-term story too. So you don't want to have two titles that feel like they're being held hostage on the same program. And in my opinion, it's good to have something that's getting defended with a little more regularity or has more people coming after it. Athena has been that workhorse champion. People are going after it. With the women's division, it's the only one, right? So it's the thing everybody's fighting for. And they've done a good job of building up people and losses around that, especially in the second half of this reign. A lot of women who have had stories around it with those losses. So they're feeling important and brought up by it. Very, very productive title reign. Very productive title reign. We'd love to see it. We move along to a very short match, which I think the promo earlier in the night was longer there, with the Righteous defeating KM, the other half of the WrestlePro crew, Kevin Matthews and Rod Gordon. We got a fun promo earlier in the night from the Righteous. It was a pre-tape video where they did a really good job of trying to justify this loss, where he said MJF came into that match alone and he left alone, and now he has 4 hyenas coming after him. Wow. Good stuff from Vincent, and basically saying that the devil is in them, not MJF. MJF's the one that's vulnerable right now. I didn't like the fact that they lost, and I didn't like the way that they lost. But Vincent can just weirdly talk his way out of anything. So really good as far as if you're going to reverse engineer it. They did a good job with that. But we just get Dutch hitting hitting Gordon with that boss man slam, which is
my God,
so delicious and nasty, and Vincent with the autumn sunshine, which both seasonal and looks great. Nice to see them back in the mix here. Begs me to wonder where the hell Stu Grayson and the Dark Order are in this. Kind of feels like that got thrown off a cliff, but I really like the Righteous quite a bit. I'm happy to see them here. This isn't even necessarily like my favorite thing in wrestling. These guys do it really well, and I think it's good for wrestling to have them around in it. Any thoughts on this? And where the hell do you think the Dark Order are? Because I don't know.
I have no idea where the Dark Order are, and I'm very confused about where Stu Grayson is, because I thought he was having an amazing run there. But regardless of that,
he's working the indies, so we know he's healthy. That's
he's outside. Yeah. He's not inside. The thing I like about the Righteous the most, Kate, is I feel like everything they do has some kind of importance to it or some kind of something to it. They're never just having matches. They're like doing promos to say, these are the people that we're after. We're trying to do this. This is going to be the destruction we caused. And then here's the match. So everything they do feels like there's importance. Anytime they're on screen, it feels like, okay, what's the Righteous doing? They're not just here lollygagging around. And I thought this was great. The boss man slam. If you need to see one thing, Dutch with that boss man slam. He's infamous for it. It's fire. That's it.
It doesn't get old. It does not get old ever. Got a fun idea about our Ethan Page discussion from Feeling Dreepy, saying, keep Ethan Page face, make Danhausen Ethan Page's manager.
Okay, now we're talking.
I like the sneakiness of that, because I think Ethan Page has the timing to make that work. But I'm ready to see Ethan Page feeling like a real deal on here, to be honest. That's just my preference. I don't think it's a bad idea, just not my favorite idea.
Right.
But some good stuff, and some good stuff from Miss Lady Frost and Zoe Lynn. This was really a quick win, but man, it doesn't take a lot for Lady Frost to show us what she's great at. We get Lynn early on catching Lady Cross with the crucifix pin early. I like it when these matches are not long and the challenger comes out of the gate hot. And that's what we got from Zoe Lynn. So good for her for maximizing her time. Lady Frost immediately coming back with that kitchen sink knee. We get her with the hurricane kick and the cartwheel air raid crash, if I could talk. Hitting that corkscrew moonsault, the frostbite for the win, though. A quick match, but an effective one. Nice to see Lady Frost maybe getting out of 50-50 territory.
Yeah.
Starting to feel, because it feels like they've been telling us she's a big deal. So now that we're getting wins to pack that up, that's probably good. But I also like Zoe Lynn in this. I'm not as familiar with her, but I thought she did a good job here for what her job to do was.
Yeah, shout out to our weekly praise of commentary, who was great throughout the whole thing. They're so good. Even the Marty Bell match, they got over how great she was. Allison K match, they got over how great she was. They continuously, like you said, tell us how great Lady Frost is. So it's good to see her in this position. I like it because we quietly got a whole bunch of women's matches. I guess it's not even that quiet anymore in Ring of Honor. Like, we could potentially every show get 3 or 4 women's matches a week. They're all different women. They're all different styles. They're all doing something different. So we just got to continuously celebrate that. Lady Frost getting wins, Mercedes Martinez getting wins, Kiera getting wins. Everybody's getting wins, and everybody's building themselves to be a contender for Athena. So this is awesome.
Agreed. You kind of just never know what's next, which makes it an exciting division to watch. You feel like anybody could pull ahead in the race at any one point. So some really good stuff with that. Our wonderful moderator, Luis, who has Thursday nights off now, because you guys actually behave yourselves in the damn chat. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Sending this for Komander versus Metalik. Metalik is probably my favorite of the luchadors that we see showing up this often. Really, really good stuff. I'm not going to talk too much about this because this is Reg's wheelhouse. I got to talk about my pure rule shit earlier. We got Komander getting up on his feet for that moonsault and hitting a gut buster before following the rope walk with the shooting star press for the win. What I love about Metalik is he makes it possible for nerds like me who maybe appreciate spot food, but it's not like their thing, really makes everything make sense. And we saw a lot of that tonight. Like, he is just one of the most, pun now intended, but not initially intended, more grounded luchadors from the perspective of the in-ring psychology piece of it, because whilst I appreciate the insane athleticism of things I can't even fathom how human beings can do, it can get a little fatigued, especially because we don't have a lot of luchadors in stories right now, Reg. So it is a little bit like, okay, the insane rope walk, which is amazing, the insane 450 splash into the table, which is amazing, but they're not in storylines. So that's kind of all that we're getting presented with. Metalik reigns that all in really, really, really well. And tonight's match, what more could you ask for?
Yeah, the thing that I liked about this is exactly what you described as kind of contrast. Metalik is more, he does do all the flippy shit and stuff you love, but it's a little more centered. He keeps it a little bit more based. Komander is actually the opposite of that. He's like, I'll do something. I'm going to do a twirly on the ropes before I jump off, just because I can. Ignorant lucha shit. It's my favorite thing in the world. Just luchadors doing like, why did you do that part? That doesn't make sense. But that's what's great about it. That's what's great about Lucha Libre. Tony Khan knows what he's doing, because if you watch Mexican Lucha Libre that happens in Mexico, they tell a lot of stories. There's blood feuds, there's families, there's history involved, there's all this. Tony Khan don't care about none of that shit. He's like, bring the flippiest motherfucker you got and let him flip. I want Komander to walk the ropes 50 times and do a shooting star press, because I want the wildest shit you could get. And that's what I like, because he's talking to me. That's what I want. I don't care about story. We're getting stories over here. MJF's telling story. Eddie Kingston's telling stories. All these people are telling stories. I want to see some fucking flips without any stories. I don't want to think about it. I just want to see somebody do a 450 splash or somebody do a cartwheel on the top rope before they do a Hurricane Rana, because...
To clarify, if I had the ability to do any of those things, that is the only thing I would ever do in a match.
Exactly.
Ever.
Also,
but as an observer, I generally prefer like a little bit of a blend. But I'm happy to be with a spot foo enthusiast and Reg, because he brings
ignorant
the energy with
lucha shit, baby.
It is never like anything less than mind-bogglingly impressive to watch, truly. Like it does blow my mind. And it is nice because we do have a lot of story now in ROH, so it doesn't feel like Lucha versus Lucha for the main event just cause like having the rest of the product be a little more cohesive. It doesn't really kind of like, not that it ever bugs me, but it doesn't like I guess not bugged me, but it sits a little easier, I guess, because I'm not like, oh cool, another match without a story, like like the rest of the show. We have stories now, so you want to just put some impressive athleticism in there, I will take it. A lovely chat from Shame Monster saying, "Hey, Minion 69 Boobs 69."
Minion 69 Boobs 69.
It's me. I got the shirt to prove it and the tweet to back it up. Hope everyone is in a great headspace and content. Well, thank you. What a nice thing to say.
Thanks, Shame Monster.
Get more of that in the IWC, please. He knew it was a list day. That's why he's coming in. He's like,
you know what time it is.
If anybody needs some grace, it's this guy right here. Gates of Agony murdering MJF and taking the tag titles to set up Swerve for the AEW title is the design. That's an interesting call.
All right.
Let's talk about this main event. That's actually a really good call. I like that a lot. It's the most direction it feels like that there might be with the rest of the Mogul Embassy, so I'll definitely take it. As much as Stu Grayson is start and stop, Brian Cage also feels lost in the shuffle again, kind of here. But we get a fun main event here. Again, it's just nitpicking, but like sometimes these main events don't feel like the main event of the show. This didn't feel like the main event of the show to me tonight, but we get Gates of Agony versus my guys and the Workhorsemen. Good stuff here. We get Gates of Agony coming out with the win, which does make it feel like they would be at the top of the list for contendership for those titles. The thing is, we don't really have a division. The titles aren't around. So, I mean, we do have division in that we have teams, but there hasn't been like stakes or clarity in that. So it kind of, to me, just read as another Gates of Agony win, but nothing that felt like it's necessarily building toward anything other than these guys are keeping strong. Now, that booking is kind of fun. What are your thoughts on the main event that we got, and what are we doing with these tag titles?
Yeah, it kind of felt like today was the first time they've even like said anything about the tag titles in a while, because Max is starting to tell the story of the world titles. So the ROH championships fell to the wayside. Surprise, surprise. No one could have guessed this shit. Listen, we can direct this ship right back, get these championships off of Max, and everything will be okay. We'll forget about it. I'll forget about all the shit that happened, and we'll just move forward. I do like the Gates of Agony saying, we want those belts. We're tired of this shit. Because again, if anybody's trying to make stakes and put them on themselves, I enjoy it. Workhorsemen are cool. They're dope. They had a match with another match I'm sure you're very interested in very recently at Deadlock Pro against the Grizzled Young Vets.
Very cool.
They are very outside, but another Gates of Agony squash, starting to get like Wardlow squashes. I'm over it, dude. I want to see something else.
I agree. And the other thing that's tricky with that is it just feels like, why would you have the Kingdom on AEW if they're not going to be the ones to take these from Max at some point? And we did see in that pre-tape him saying something to the effect of like, I'm going to have to be nice to the scumbag or whatever. Right. So I think we might be heading in that direction. We've been calling for the King to be champions for a while, but I wouldn't even mind that as just like an intermittent defense of setting up some like cool Mogul Embassy versus MJF stuff. The thing is, I don't know if MJF is dropping to Swerve, but I don't want them anywhere near each other if he's not. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if it isn't Swerve, don't put him in the title picture. I don't want him losing to MJF. That's just me, where I'm like, to me, there's a rhythm of MJF to a champion that's maybe a little bit more transitional to somebody that's going to have a longer reign. And I don't want Swerve to be transitional. So selfishly, I don't think that's what should be what happens next. Right. So, and Swerve losing to MJF feels less productive than it does leaning productive because he's so on fire outside of the title picture right now, in my opinion.
Agreed.
But we've got some time to chop it up. What do you think is going on in this AEW world title picture? Where's your head at?
I think the move right now should be Jay White defeats MJF at Full Gear. I mean, everything that's happening right now is kind of leading to that. I think MJF has had an incredible run. I think we get to Full Gear and he's beaten Kenny Omega's reign, all that. We're like, good here. Boom. We're moving forward. Jay White. Jay White's hot as hell right now. Bang Bang Gang's hot. Guns are hot. Look, I said it out loud. Everybody's hot. I think this is a perfect time to kind of transition away from Max being the world champion, but he still can do exactly what he's been doing. But I think right now the time is for Jay White, Kate, honestly. It's a perfect timing, I feel like. We're going to this pay-per-view. Max has had an incredible run. Jay White's hot as hell. Like, do it.
Jay White is hot as hell, and I don't hate that idea at all. I don't know if that's where they're going with it, but it wouldn't make me mad. He kind of falls into that category of someone I want to see have a long, healthy run too. So from a cadence standpoint, I don't know why. This is just my brain. This is not wrestling brain. But like I feel like you want someone to hold it from like Full Gear for maybe one pay-per-view cycle and then that next guy who's going to have it for a long time. Gotcha. So that's just the way my head is working, is like maybe there's an opportunity for something a little bit more transitional, but I don't know. I'm intrigued
like
to see where it goes.
Like who? Like what?
Like who? I think there's a possibility. Nobody likes this but me. Denise hated it. But I feel like you want to make Wardlow feel important.
Yeah.
No, I know nobody likes it, but hear me out. Hear me out. He wins it and then loses it real fast. Like, just make the guy feel important again. Kenny Omega on a second run, Samoa Joe on a rebound shot. That would probably be, if I could. I just love Samoa Joe though. So like, it could be anybody in the world.
If we're transition championing, not thinking about Wardlow again, that's not the worst idea.
Right? It's not.
It could work if he comes in and squashes Max like he did back when they were having that whole thing at that pay-per-view and shit, and then Max goes away for a bit and then does something else. I don't know. That could work to get Wardlow some heat because he needs something. Something
you could even
needed.
Throw it back on Max and then have him lose again. Like,
right.
But I agree. Like my thinking being, that's a great way to make Wardlow, who you started the momentum of and stopped the momentum of several times, feel like a big deal. There's so much obvious real life juice that is sitting right there. He's on Max's little list, right? Like, it'd be a fun way to end it. So I think it could be a fun move and a great way to make Wardlow feel like a star again. I get why people aren't into it, but the way Wardlow has felt very heel of recent feels to me like he might be infiltrating Max's little circle of nipples.
All right. Yeah, no, it's making more sense now that I think about it. I'm like, all right, I see what they're doing here. I see what story they're telling here. Wardlow could be the one. I need something more. I can't just do this squash thing. I understand where they're going, but it's like, Wardlow, why'd you come back as Wardlow? I thought you'd come back like with something flashier, but they could tell a good story. That's
where my brain's at. So some fun stuff there. Since we have a couple extra minutes, what are your... So I was hoping we were going to get Hammerstein Ballroom for Death Before Dishonor.
Oh, yeah.
We're not. They did trick us. They're not good jokes, actually. They're sad jokes. What are we getting out of this pay-per-view? What are we getting out of this pay-per-view, Reg?
Okay. Final battle. Eddie Kingston's going to be the champion.
Why do I keep saying Death Before Dishonor? Final battle.
I don't know.
Thank you. That pay-per-view that already happened? Nah.
Final battle. I'm guessing that I mentioned his name earlier. We might get the return of Mark Briscoe. I could see him in a role against either Eddie Kingston or against Samoa Joe. This could be the time we get Ethan Page's title match against Eddie Kingston, but does that main event sell Final Battle for people? I'm saying it does for me, but I'm saying for the outside world. We potentially, Nigel McGuinness is going to sound crazy. Nigel McGuinness has been selling this match every week on Collision, every single week. Every time he sees this guy, calls them all kinds of names.
That clam digger Danielson.
You want to have a hot final battle match? Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness in one of those last time only? Could be it. Athena? Billie Starks? Question mark? That could be the culmination. I don't know. It's still pretty wide open from here to then.
So what I'm even more interested in is, I don't know if Ethan Page and Kingston, though to your point, I'm sold on it. Everybody else is, but let's also
real quick, how do you feel about Jeff Jarrett and Eddie Kingston?
We were so close. So close.
We all were so close. And then I was like, oh yeah, Jeff Jarrett, Kate's favorite wrestler. How do you feel, Kate?
Well, other than the fact that I can't stand Jeff Jarrett, at least it's somewhat old, who isn't in Ring of Honor, who is going to win probably so that Jay Lethal can get a shot later in the night.
That's sick.
Barf. Like, what a cruel joke to play on me specifically. Like, my favorite wrestler.
Why y'all trolling? I don't want. If y'all are trolling Kate, there are other ways we could go about this, you guys.
There's so many, and you can find them very easily. Okay.
But they were like, nah, this one will be really funny.
You know what's? No, it'll be good. So rude. So rude. How about someone from, I don't know, ROH?
Double J, he could get whatever he wants, Kate.
But Reg, they're in Memphis. I know. I don't give a flying S. Who cares? Memphis doesn't even care anymore.
Memphis is not going to be like, oh yeah, Memphis. Yeah, this isn't like Jerry the King Lawler crowd. They're like young people in the crowd. They don't know that shit.
They already tried that. They were like, hey, we're doing a concession stand match like 6 hours away from where the original one was. Like, I am over that. Why is everybody in ROH working towards
Is that the connection that they're making, that it's in Memphis? Because I'm like, what is this happening? That's the connection that they're making?
Isn't it a Memphis street fight?
That's
how you protect Eddie Kingston in this loss.
I guess.
Barf a larf.
I guess. We're reaching like a son of a gun.
Reaching. They've been pulling.
I mean, Eddie Kingston's on TV. That's a thing. Nope. Not a thing. Yeah, okay. I get it. I understand.
I mean, nothing happens at Battle of the Belts anyway, let's be real. But I am more intrigued almost by the ROH Trios titles.
Yes.
And the tag titles. Because I think it's very possible both of those switch hands. I think the whole reason they put them on this crop of people was to have them drop and feel important in ROH, I'm hoping. Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on who might be your emerging 6-man champs? I thought it was Dark Order, but now they're MIA. Maybe they're MIA for this? I don't know.
I legit, at this moment, just remembered who the champs were, so...
Well, there you go. That's what we complain about every week.
What is that? Why haven't they even...
They don't work Saturdays, bro. They're not around.
Baby steps. I keep saying it.
I'm tired of baby steps. I'm ready for gravity steps.
Let's get Stu back in here. Give them the Trios Championships. I'm here for gravity steps. It's really stupid.
Hi, I've been your co-host for a while now. You should know that I'm mostly stupid on these shows. First time here? This is why he called out. Why he's like, oh, I gotta pay my rent. That's why he calls out with no notice. He's like, I can't go clean shit today.
That is so stupid. And you did the walk too. I love it.
And you're supposed
I forgot what I was talking about.
Like, we're talking about the trios. I guess because there are no trios other than you could throw Dalton and the boys back together. Okay. Dark Order, the Righteous, you could have had absorb anybody at any time because they're all creepy and weird.
Yeah, you could tell any kind of story with that, I guess, yeah.
It feels like there's Dark Order and Hung Bucks.
You got to get somebody the rub, right? If you're going to beat the Hung Bucks, it got to be somebody that's somebody at this point.
Sure.
So, who's that somebody?
I mean, I would hope they didn't bring Stu Grayson back just to not do anything with him again. Like, let's get that back up and running. But Stu Grayson was like Team the Righteous. So I don't know.
That story. Remember, we came on this podcast every week being like, we love this story. What a great story they're telling. They were like,
we were like, if you're only going to tell one story, it might as well be a good one. And it's this one.
They're like, we told that story, you guys. We're done. See you later, Stu. But Stu's really good at wrestling beyond this. Like, we could see him getting wins here on Ring of Honor TV.
Yeah, and he's not, which is weird.
I don't know, man.
I
don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do at Final Battle, because Samoa Joe, Eddie Kingston. I think Eddie Kingston's gonna continuously get over, and they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, he shouldn't be the Ring of Honor champion anymore." And it's like, I'm done.
He's holding everybody's secondary belts. He's got his New Japan Strong belt.
Yeah.
He's got his ROH belt.
Right.
Like, I'm just gonna keep making hay out of what you give me. So
right.
But Jeff Jarrett, what an opening feud.
My world.
But that's okay, because it's also to get to Jay Lethal, who I couldn't care about less also.
Yeah, that's...
They really haven't done anything with Team TNA. Like, Jeff Jarrett shouldn't be the most over person in that stable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like what? I don't... How does he keep doing this? I love Jeff Jarrett. I'm a huge fan, but I'm like, how does he keep ending up in these matches?
I'm not. I don't get what I'm supposed to be a fan of. Oh, cool. He smashes the guitar. Cool.
I was going to say, what's there not to like? He smashed the guitar. My World is one of the greatest interesting songs of all time. Karen Jarrett. We love Karen. Of course, she's the best. And Slapnuts. He didn't say Slapnuts anymore, but that was a good time.
That was like the one thing I liked was saying. If you say like slab nuts or redeem these nuts, I'm in. They didn't even bring that up in the feud. That should be the only thing that this feud is about nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Do we redeem them or do we slap them? I don't like interference. So the fact that he does the same match every time doesn't do anything for me. It's the same reason I don't like House of Torture. It's the same reason I don't like Judgment Day. I don't like any of this shit. Get it out of my life. But I'll tell you what I do like. I like Cresta Star. Quite a bit.
Dun, 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 back in Sean's basement.
Stealing his glasses too.
I know, you look good, girl.
These are my glasses. I found them in honor of Columbus Day. They are mine. I discovered them.
Okay.
I hope you didn't do a lot of the other things Columbus did to people for them, but I appreciate.
Why when you said that, all I could think of, he's the great guy around. What about all the murders? One murder. One murder. I don't know what you're talking about.
How?
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. ROH was decent. Like there was a lot of, I was saying like connective tissue stuff that kept the train moving, which is good. Nothing felt like superfluous, and a couple of interesting little twists and turns, but kind of a moving it along episode. But it was only an hour and a half, so that was refreshing. They didn't just waste.
Yeah, we're gonna be chugging along here until we get to Final Battle. So we got about a month of like we're gonna be feeling around, seeing what we're getting here before we really get to the meat of this. So this was one of those episodes, I feel.
Hell yeah. Final Battle coming from the Hammerstein.
They got us, Joel.
They got us. They got us all.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the
wow.
with only Cresta.
Like a bull. Hammerstein, you like this? Nope, they don't.
Joel,
listen, y'all don't want me to do the show by myself because it'll just be a lot of chaos and we'll be done in 20 minutes.
First of all, that would be amazing. Second of all, I'm sorry that Joel double booked himself to be driving a stake into my heart.
Wow.
Algorithm, by the way, the algorithm wouldn't be so upset about a 20-minute anything.
Seriously.
No, it would not.
Especially if Cresta just loses their mind. Oh. Fast and Furious, like, watch this, don't watch that. See you next week or I'll bite you. Show's over.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Greatest review
See you
show
next week
time.
and I'll bite you.
There you go, Sean Ross. That new show, Cresta's 5-minute review. Be back next week or you're getting big.
Yo, that's $1 million idea right there.
It's not bad. I've seen worse. I've heard worse. I'll take it. How was the Bound for Glory go home?
I liked it, but it was a regular show to me, if it means anything. I only have 2 pages of notes, which is rare. I normally have like 3.5.
Kate, remember all the things you just said about Ring of Honor tonight?
Yeah.
And how the show, basically that, except we have a pay-per-view on Saturday.
I'm like, it's a go-home show. It can't be the same thing.
Yeah, no, there was,
I mean, I guess the card was pretty well set up already, though, so it's not like there's a ton of driving.
That's true. That's true.
They, like I said, like last week with the match with Kazarian and Edwards, like they were tying up some loose ends. That's fine. It's just tonight's show was just like momentum and talking about Bound for Glory stuff that we taped after the fact. It was fine, but it was like nothing was amazing.
Right.
I get you. Well, what a fun post show this will be then. Stay tuned.
I mean, it will.
It's gonna listen. One thing about me and Joel is we like to keep people sports entertained, and we got a pay-per-view card to run down. So no matter how short it was, we can do filler. Like you guys like wrestling jokes.
I made one that made Reg laugh disproportionately hard.
Pretty bad.
Oh no!
All I made was like a gravity walk joke.
I would like.
I was just. Reg was saying we're taking baby steps with ROH, and I said I'm sick of baby steps. I would like gravity walk jokes. And I did the gravity walk. And Reg was like, that is so stupid. And then laughed for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's really bad.
This is Reg. Bad. I hate this. Boo. Here's my wallet.
Yeah, exactly.
Before you guys peace out, I want to put it out there. I know you're talking about Jeff Jarrett. I want to point out that Jeff Jarrett gets a title shot the same night as Bound for Glory. So like that's the most Jeff Jarrett thing you can get out there. I don't love it, but I have to respect it.
Jeff Jarrett stay with a job.
Carnivalness.
Classic Jeff Jarrett.
I just don't need it on my TV.
And I bet you that if he was asked, he'd be like, actually, Tony Khan came up to me and he said to me, Jeff, you're not going to be in Chicago. So instead, I'm going to give you a world title shot. And I'm going to say, boss, whatever you want.
That's exactly what happened. 100%. Look it up on Fightful Select.
Yo, guys. Had fun tonight. Thanks, Reg.
Check out My World. I'm sure it'll be there.
My World.
Time to wrap it up. I'm gonna
go.
Kate's like, let's get out of here.
I throw up.
Here for it.
For real, have such a fun Impact post show, though, guys. Please continue to support. Leave a thumbs up on this video if you are just kind of joining at the top of the switch over here. Stick around for that Bound for Glory post show. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Peace, y'all.
Bye.
Joy. Let's go. It's us.
I'm Joe Pearl. Oh, I'm not Joe Pearl. That was fun for like 2 seconds.
This thing again. This is the only show where I had to fix my OBS. Like everything else is like, go for it.
Yeah, because you get the hands off.
Damn crossover ruins everything.
NXT takeover, crossover, Impact crossover ruins everything.
That's right.
Maybe a next pay-per-view.
Historic crossovers for all. Anyway, how you doing, Cresta?
I am doing splendiferous. I really enjoyed wrestling tonight. It's been a welcome break from the craziness. And as I was telling you in DMs, it's crazy that I was supposed to be covering for Rick pretty much this month. And I haven't done not one Collision post show with Iridian. I think I maybe did one. Exactly one.
So chat, I want you to make the decision for Cresta Star.
I'm always double booking.
Should she cover Collision this week? Or should she join myself and Steven Jensen covering the Bound for Glory post show on Fightful.com?
I don't know what to do because I love Iridian. I haven't done it with her in a while.
People need to do it.
I mean, hopefully Mr. Sap, Mr. Xian will show up and help her. But if not, I'm sure there are tons of great people that'll help her. But at the same time, I feel like I should. But also, I haven't worked with Steven Jensen in forever, and he's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. He's a very funny guy.
Just saying, Bound for Glory looks like a stacked card, and we are going to talk about it tonight. So
I know. And the last time I did this, I was upsetty spaghetti.
You missed good stuff, and you decided, that was what show was that? Wasn't Rebellion. That was Slammiversary. Oh, buddy.
Oh, I was so mad because I was watching both at the same time, and I was doing this. Like,
just have D. Felice do the thing with the Iridian. They'll be fine. They did it last week. What are you gonna miss? What the hell are you really realistically going?
Ricky Starks yelling at somebody.
Oh no, Ricky Starks and Adam Copeland are gonna bitch off at each other for an hour.
Honest day.
I ain't seen nothing anyway.
You know what? You really put my glasses back on. These lights are very bright.
Anyway, listen, chat's getting their say. They're saying Bound for Glory. Some people are saying Collision. I think those people are wrong. And then, so, Scott in the chat saying D. Felice did great last week with the Iridium. There you go. There. Now everything's okay.
Why don't we just do a mega and just review them all? I don't know how that's going to work.
That sounds awful. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that.
8-man booth.
Nope. I only work one 8-man booth a year, and that is the holiday special that we did not do last year, but we might do this.
If y'all do a holiday special, I want to be involved, and I want to be the Grinch. Thank you.
We did that with Denise a couple years ago. I'm sorry.
Damn it. I'm still Denise's gimmick.
Yeah, no one's original on this whole thing.
I'll figure it out. Don't worry. I'll figure it out.
Anyway, all of this gets cut for the audio feed. So if you're watching in video, I'm sorry, but also welcome. Are you ready to go, Cresta Star?
I'm ready. And I see this as a bonus. You guys were here. You get to see all these little fun tidbits. So you could tell your friends, did you see this thing that Joel and Cresta did? Maybe you should watch.
Oh, by the way, the MJF and Omega with no match, that's next week. We're talking this Saturday. That's the show Cresta is debating whether she covers this or Bound for Glory.
It's probably going to be Bound for Glory, and Iridian's going to send me hate mail, and I deserve it.
She'll survive. She'll be fine. She knows what the better show is. It's the one we're talking about. Shall we?
It's true. Let's go.
Hello, friends. We're back again. It's Fightful.com. It's October 19th, 2023. It's time for your Impact post-show. And it's the Bound for Glory Go Home edition, because this Saturday, myself, Steven Jensen, and probably Cresta Star, because let's face it, I'm going to bully her into doing the post show. We will be doing a Bound for Glory post show on youtube.com/Fightful. So join us then. But for now, we're talking about tonight's episode of Impact Wrestling, the Go Home edition, where there was a good amount of stuff going on. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about BTI. George Iceman's in the bathroom doing his promo. We'll get to that in a minute. But Cresta Star, how are you?
I'm doing great. My energy is high. I've got water. I'm hydrated. I hope you guys are having a good evening. How are you, Joel Pearl?
I'm here. I'm surviving. I didn't yawn throughout the show. I promise. I have so much going on. We're going to talk about the wrestling. And of course, if you want to talk about the wrestling with us, do a couple things. First of all, leave a thumbs up on this video if you have not already, or just do it again. No, don't do it again. But if you do it again, then do it one more time, because you got to just do the thumbs up. And then also subscribe to us here at youtube.com/Fightful. And if you want to support us with your monies, you can go over to FightfulSelect.com. Best $5 in the business, best $54 a year to get your exclusive news. We'll talk about that a little later. Or you can donate a super chat right now. Any amount, get your question or statement read on the air. Or you can head on over to humperchats.com, and Cresta will tell you how, why, when, and where.
So you take your fingers or your thumbs, if you're on your phone, you go to humperchats.com. You type your comment in the comment box. You put your donation in the donation amount box. And it could be any comment like, hey, Joe Pearl, what do you feel about Kenny King and KiLynn King not being in a tag team called the King of Kings? Who knows? We get to keep a little bit more of the proceeds. We'll give you an answer. It may be advice. It may be bad advice. But you can do all of that at humperchats.com.
I will only answer the question that was just posed if someone sends a super chat or a humper chat asking me.
That's the only thing I think. Like, I don't know why they're not in a mixed tag called like King of Kings, or like, because I think that'd be such a. They're such good players, but that's just me. And also, we saw them tonight.
We're only just beginning with the KiLynn King separation from a tag team, so who knows? And also, we just ended a Kenny King storyline tonight, so maybe it'll happen. Who knows? But let's talk about the rest of the stuff. Let's start right into BTI, because like I said, our pal George Iceman was hanging out in the bathroom. How do I know? Cresta, if there's one thing I know, it's that in a public bathroom, only that reverberation exists from the way that George Iceman was talking to us tonight.
Listen, when you have to go to work, you got to go to work. You don't get paid by the hour.
That's fair. I get it. And you know what? He was plugging Bound for Glory, talking about the surprises that happen every year. And then he talks about how he was checking out his, going through his Rolodex, talking to his contacts, and that there's somebody who has been booked a flight and accommodations, and they don't know who. And I'm thinking to myself, if you don't know who's coming to the show, I think we have bigger problems than surprises.
Listen, George Iceman just gets the intel. It doesn't have to be correct intel. He just gets some intel.
Are you saying that he is the not accurate Fightful Select version of Impact Wrestling's intel?
I wouldn't go so far as to say that. That's why you're the biggest heel in the business.
Fair enough. Iceman says there's going to be surprises. I'm going to take him at his word that there will be surprises. What they are, who knows? Because there's a lot coming up at Bound for Glory. We'll talk about that card as we get closer to the end of the show. Jody Threat takes on KiLynn King on the BTI match. It's Battle of the Redheads, like 1.5 redhead, because KiLynn King has the top red, but then the underneath is black hair. It's just, anyway, it's a good match. KiLynn King selling at the end with the knee, faking the injury, and then tosses Jody Threat in the ring, hits that King's Curse, wins the match. It's a good one-on-one match. I don't love Jody Threat losing, but she's lost already, so I guess that cat's out of the bag. What do you think of Threat and King?
I do want to point out that that snap suplex Threat got on King, I think when King went in for a spear, that looked really gnarly considering the height difference. Besides, I have nothing really to add. It does make sense that KiLynn King won here. Like you said, she just broke up from a tag team. Jody Threat already lost. And if you're going to lose to anyone, why not lose to a big, angry redhead, kind of?
I have a feeling, I don't know her injury status, but if Taylor Wilde's good to go, we might see her as early as Saturday at Bound for Glory, maybe hitting up the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, or maybe a Fallout, maybe costs KiLynn King something that she's going to challenge for. I could see that happening. But Taylor Wilde versus KiLynn King is a play that they're going to have, considering they've admitted that KiLynn King is the one who took out Taylor Wilde. So why not? For now, Jody Threat's just kind of figuring it out. We don't know what's going on with her yet in terms of her status with Impact on the show. We know she works for the company. So
we know she's there. We just don't know what she's doing, y'all.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get there. She's in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet as well, along with a myriad of other performers we'll talk about later. The main Impact show opens up with Speedball Mike Bailey taking on Samurai Del Sol, Cresta Star. What happens to luchadors when they wrestle in Impact Wrestling?
I tried to tell this to my friends. They're like, no, but he's really kicking that guy's butt. I'm like, Speedball don't lose unless it's Jonathan Gresham. So that being said, luchadors in Impact, they just be losing. They just be losing.
That's just the way it is. Good chemistry, though. I mean, good speed. Both men had the keys to each other, and they did good stuff. There's a good spot, the double single leg kick, where they both take each other down. There's good stuff. The pump kick turned into the tornado kick, where both men hit their respective moves in the corner, was good. Ultimo Weapon gets the win. A good match for Speedball heading into Bound for Glory, taking on Will Ospreay. It's such an interesting match because I've been calling it the sponsorship match since they've attached it to a movie. The movie is the match that this sponsored the whatever. What do you think of the match, Speedball versus Samurai Del Sol?
I do enjoy that spot where Speedball goes to kick someone and they just move and Speedball's foot is just still there. Like, I thought that was pretty cool. The arm drag in the beginning too, where Del Sol catapulted himself off the middle rope, was really clean and nice. The chest kicks onto Speedball. I feel this match itself was good. This match wasn't bad. It's just unfortunate that luchadors lose. I mean, we saw it again tonight with Black Taurus, but
again, the most interested I've ever been in watching luchadors in Impact is going to be this weekend when they do the Fallout on Sunday, when they do a Hispanic Heritage Month thing. And they bring in all of this talent. They bring in Conan. They'll have Black Taurus, and they'll have Laredo Kid, and they'll have Samurai Del Sol, and they'll have all of the talent. They've all been promoted. And I don't know who's going to win, and I don't know how they're going to figure out a way to have everybody lose.
Yeah, listen, I don't know. Shenanigans. PCO comes out and summons the undead zombie. Violate my design. I don't know.
That's what we said last week, is that they'll do a 6-man tag, and then the design will show up, and Kaun and Diener will just beat the shit out of all 6 men.
DQ. Everybody loses. No one's a winner.
Nobody wins. Oh, the fans win. Anyway, I'm looking forward to Speedball and Will Ospreay. But this match,
hell yeah!
This Samurai Del Sol match versus Speedball, this was good stuff. It delivered exactly how it should have, and that was a momentum match for Speedball, and that's really what the point of tonight was for those who have Bound for Glory matches. All the matches were just matches for momentum.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's move along. Dirty Dango promo time. They're doing the pre-tape back, not backstage, but outside thing. It says Memphis is ghetto, so he skipped going to the gym and stayed in his hotel to get room service. He mentions the Flying Elvises, which was a TNA original team. Says Shannon Moore, Sonny Siaki, and Evan Courageous. They were the Flying Elvises, right? We're not going to get into the Flying Elvis lore. You can figure out what the Flying Elvises were.
I mean, I can assume it's the Young Bucks, but
Not exactly, but either way. They looked like Elvises. They flew. But then he says dancing flare pants gimmicks never get over, which is clearly a shot at his old Fandango gimmick. And then they talk about why Oleg Prudius. And he says, Bravo screwed up. Dango wasn't happy. So he called his accountant Oleg. And then says Oleg beat John Wick, sent him to Italy. And now Keanu Reeves isn't doing a movie till 2028.
When he said that, I was like, yo, what? Dango, sometimes you just be saying stuff.
Just to say it, and good for him.
Say it.
Because then he says Bravo will throw himself on the grenade, whether that's at war or at the club. And then he says Oleg is the grenade. And they just cut. That's it. And it's like, what the hell?
It was just a sharp cut. I was like, did my TV go out? Like,
they just realized they were either going nowhere or they just went too far.
I mean, he's being an edgelord. That's his whole gimmick.
It's edge of nothing in that one. Probably dulls. Anyway, Ace of Base have a promo backstage to say the Rascals have committed. They're committed to the 5 Ds of dodgeball and avoiding Ace of Base. And the runway's reached its conclusion. Ace of Base are going to win. Yada yada yada. Good promo. Simple stuff.
Yeah, ditto. Because I don't have any notes for this, to be honest with you.
Kenny King with Sheldon Jean take on Heath. I don't have much to say about this because Heath is fairly listless because his Impact contract is winding down. It seems like he's on his way out. King tries to pin Heath with his feet on the ropes. The referee catches it, and then Jean gets on the apron, distracts Heath. King hits Heath and kicks him and hits the Royal Flush. That's the win. That's the match. Straight up, Kenny King wins. Now we get to move on, and Heath is presumably wrapping up with Impact.
I mean, this match, I want to say something nice about it, so I'm going to say Sheldon Jean cheated, and that was a really nice Pele kick on Heath.
It was a nice Pele kick on Heath. It really was. Anyway, Frankie Kazarian. We're gonna roll through this episode.
Yeah, when I realized that it was like almost 10 o'clock, I was like, yikes.
It's true. Dobby the Brain Heenan sends us a super chat saying, can't wait for Bound for Glory. Cresta, you got to be in the Bound for Glory post show. I'm telling you. You have to be a part of it. You don't need Collision this week. Forget it. Don't go forgetting your roots with Fightful. There you go. Joel needs his forever tag partner. I do. At this point, Cresta Star is the only forever tag partner I have. I've got Jeremy Lambert on In the Weeds, but I don't get Kate all the time because Kate and I have weird schedules on Sundays and things come up and all that stuff. But I can always depend on Cresta. She has become my most dependable.
You know what's funny about that statement is the last time I said, okay, let me go cover Collision instead of Impact. One of my friends said, you're just like everybody else. You're forgetting your Impact roots once you get a little fame. I was like, wow, that's not true. That's not true at all. The bullying is working, y'all. I think I'll be here Saturday.
Yes. Somebody tried to use that line on me once, but that's a whole other story. Frankie Kazarian is backstage. He says he loves Edward Edwards. And that they will drive Impact to newer heights as a united duo. And he says Edwards has no choice but to respect Frankie Kazarian. Please just let this either continue. It's a fighter, you know what, at this point. And I don't think Lish wants the latter to happen between Frankie and Edwards. It's fine. Do a tag team. I wouldn't hate it. What do you think?
Remember last week when you were like, this is done, and I said, I don't think. And here we are.
Here's the thing. I said it was done as a one-on-one. Do I think they can team up? Yeah, I think they can team up. Do I want them to team up? No, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes. That word exactly. Absolutely. I would rather Eddie Edwards, the Edwardses, be a mixed tag and be terrorizers. I would rather that. I would rather them be, especially Alicia on her Vicky Guerrero is such good shit, pal. But I would rather that. I feel like there's something we could do better with Kazarian. I don't know how else to say it.
I agree. And here's the thing. At Turning Point, they've announced it's going to be Edward Edwards versus Will Ospreay, which is a match that I'm looking forward to, but I need to be bought in on.
Okay, that's fair.
Right now, it ain't there. Right now, it's Edwards, who just lost his feud versus Frankie Kazarian, and Will Ospreay, who's about to have a banger of a match with Speedball. And we don't, and then the stuff that happens at Fallout. So we need to get to Edwards and Ospreay somehow. but I don't know.
I mean, but I'm also expecting Will Ospreay to brutalize Monsieur One Edwards. And that's what I'm looking for. This is what I want to see.
That's fair. I enjoyed seeing Crazy Steve versus Black Taurus. Hey, Cresta, what happens to luchadors in Impact Wrestling when they wrestle?
This was worse than just losing. This was borderline taking your favorite cow out back and giving him the old lassie, because Jesus Christ, man. There were a few chair spots in here where I'm like, Steve will never walk again. And then the big chair spot with Black Taurus, I was like, Black Taurus will never walk again. Jeez, like this match was, this was a fine line of violence and whatever it is. But Crazy Steve is a jerk. And I'm kind of here for it. Black Taurus, I'm tired of you losing in true luchador style. Ridiculous, but this was a really good match.
This was a good match. I love the chair tower set up on the outside. It's like a beat 'em up match with toys. That's really what it does. Yeah. You know, you had Taurus throwing Steve spine first onto chairs that are set up in the ring. You got the Steve reverses at one point this like whatever the hell Black Taurus was trying to set up in the corner. Steve just reverses it into like this crucifix style bomb and then follows up with the cannonball into the corner. And it's like, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. And they just kept getting more violent. Steve goes for the fork and ends up getting stopped by Taurus, but then gets hit with the Belladonna's kiss, and Steve gets the win because Black Taurus is a luchador.
I mean, again, this was a good match, and I see a shock in chat saying the craziest of Steves. Yes, that's exactly what this is. This is 2016 Slipknot with the weird mask, Crazy Steve, and it's good. His presentation is good. I feel like he could be a Dead by Daylight killer. It's good. It's good. It just sucks that it comes at the cost of Black Taurus, who, mind you, at one point was sniffing the digital media championship that they never gave to him, or was it the X Division? It was one of those two. So justice for Black Taurus. I don't want my Black Angus beef yet. I think he deserves.
Black Taurus was close to an X Division championship a few times back in 2021. So, and that was against Josh Alexander. So, times have changed. That's really all it comes down to. But this was a good match. This was, again, a showcase for Crazy Steve, ending the feud with Black Taurus, or just ending the former partnership that they had with Decay. And this is just a moving on for Crazy Steve, because now he's going to focus on Tommy Dreamer, the Digital Media Championship, Bound for Glory. It's going to be, it's just, again, moving stuff along, and that's okay. There was just a lot of momentum matches tonight.
Yeah, I would go ahead and argue that this was my favorite match of the night. Out of all the momentum moving, this and the main event were really solid matches.
Yeah, that's true. The Call Your Shot Gauntlet, everyone shows up and says they're going to win. They basically just called them in one by one and said, hey, tell them you're going to win. And they all just said, okay, I'm going to win. And that was it.
Honestly, my favorite was Jody Threat. I'm Jody Threat, and I'm a win. And that's not a promise. That's a threat.
God bless. Again, Jody Threat told us once upon a time on an interview that like she knows that her acting isn't the best, but she's working to get better at it. And I have to respect it. She's trying. And this
was good.
It was fine. It was serviceable. But again, like learning and growing. That's what we're doing here. We're learning and we're growing. And that's why I don't get upset when Jody Threat's not like this world beater gonna be the world champion type of character yet. She has room to grow. And she is taking that opportunity. So I don't think anyone's upset.
Out of all those people, that's the only one I remember.
That's fair, actually.
I wrote down everyone's name, but the only one I remember is Jody Threat saying, I'm going to win. And that's not a threat. That's the only one I remember.
Everyone else threw out their normal catchphrase or just some sort of like call your shot, pun, whatever. So you're right. If she left the lasting impression on you, then you're good.
She was raised in
her and Thea Hale. Moose and Myers take on PCO and Rhino. This is a fine match. Again, this was just a straight up, we're doing it. PCO, Moose have a chop fest. PCO hits the lung blower and a second rope leg drop on Brian Myers. Moose saves Myers from the PCO salt. And then this is where it gets good. Rhino sets up Moose for the gore. Macklin pulls Rhino out, goes to take him out, pushes him into the corner, into the turnbuckle, and then into the post. And then Bully comes out. And he steps in front of Macklin and was like, don't do it. Don't hit Rhino. PCO gets hit with the suicide dive, or hits a suicide dive on Macklin rather, gets in the ring. Moose hits a spear on PCO for the win. So there you go. Moose with that call your shot. What am I doing here? the briefcase, the Feast or Fired briefcase that Moose has. More momentum, more Moose. And then we go backstage. Rhino follows Bully backstage, says, I don't trust you. I don't need your help. And Bully just says, you're welcome. And that's that. Thoughts?
This was a very Moose Myers PCO and a Rhino match. I don't know how else to describe it. It's if you could describe if you could close your eyes and have to book that match from memory, that's exactly what this match was. Except there's no hardcore rules. The Bully Ray thing, I don't really get it, but I'm gonna let it play out. And they get that you're trying to turn over a new leaf, but nobody trusts you, Bully Ray. You've made it very clear. You said, do you know who I am? Yes. And when people remind you of who you are, you're like, but I'm a good guy. Psych. You can't, I'm not falling for this again. Also, Moose, you not sneaky with that nut shot with the ropes on PCO, and that's why you hit the spear. Moose proves every day that he could be a piece of crap and not care.
It's true. It's garbage. The worst.
It was an okay match. It was an okay match.
Was what it was. It's one of those matches that's like the storytelling's there, the psychology's there. It's a TV tag match.
Mm-hmm.
With a little bit, a little bit of we're going home. We're going to the pay-per-view. So let's just get through this. MK Ultra have a backstager promo, pre-tape, where they say when you step into their world, you become pawns. There's no escape. When you face them, you'll be twisted, broken, and never forget what we did to you. And then I just said to myself, you cannot break up this tag team. But there's a problem with that. We interviewed Tasha Steelz on In the Weeds this past Wednesday. Cresta, I don't know if you know this, but In the Weeds has a really good record going. We have a streak.
The Undertaker?
No, we don't like him. But
Okay,
what we do like are streaks that include lots of interviewees getting big dubs. And everyone that we interview, everybody wins their matches. Tasha Steelz was on Wednesday, and now I'm a little concerned that Tasha Steelz is going to ruin our streak.
But what if she doesn't? What if her and Deonna Purrazzo become tag team champions? I'm going to be a little upset. I don't think MK Ultra break up right away. However, I do agree that MK Ultra brain stroke.
You too,
Yeah, it's late apparently. I do agree that MK Ultra need to stay as a tag team and not break up. I don't know how that works. Deonna Purrazzo and Tasha Steelz were a really good tag team at one point. It's gonna be a good match. I tell you what. But at some point during that video package, I'm like, are we talking about wrestling? What am I watching? Can I watch this with my friends?
But that's the thing with MK Ultra is that I say this every time, they make a certain group of people feel a certain kind of way. And it's just, it just
I'm the target audience. I'm the target audience.
And that's the thing. You and a lot of others are just loving it. Listen, I love it. I'm entertained as hell because I see what they're doing and I see how well it does in terms of metrics, in terms of engagement. Like there's something there.
Yeah.
The two good looking sexual innuendo charged redheaded women.
But they're also super murderous. So yes. It's the juxtaposition.
It's literally every single person who gets a message to their exclusive content page saying, please blank on my blank. That's them. And it works.
Hello, yes, please. Hello, I would like you to put me in a Northern Light suplex. Hello, yes.
We've had this conversation. You know what? I'll tell another In the Weeds story. Same conversation. We were talking with MLW Selena De La Renta, and we were talking about how that's something that she gets to her exclusive brand page is people being like, please smack me in the face. And I get that's a comment. That's MK Ultra. They're beautiful, they're powerful, and they are like people want you to do the things.
I will say that doesn't surprise me because I've seen many a video where people are like, hey, I'm autograph session. Man, I just saw this on Chris Bay's TikTok. Shout out to Chris Bay. guy said, let me get an autograph. And he's like, yo, can you slap my chest?
That's more normal. That's more normal.
No,
it is because the knife edge chop, the Ric Flair chop, like that's a thing. That's been a thing. This is just like
choke slam me, please.
Yeah, this is like step on my face, and it's like you're not Tony Atlas. What the hell are we doing here?
They said, "Listen, this is what I need you to do. You know that video of Kota Ibushi doing a moonsault on his phone? On the phone."
And that's why MK Ultra.
That's why it works.
Lose. That's why they shouldn't lose.
Listen, it puts butts in seats.
Yeah, a lot of people want them. Anyway, I'm not going to go with no, not doing this here. Alex Shelley has to sit down with Josh Alexander. Scott D'Amore is moderating. Well, at least he tries to.
He tried.
Cresta, I have to say, God bless Impact Wrestling for trying. I don't know if you saw this. Did you? Okay, so Scott's got his ear pods in, okay? And then I don't know if you saw this, but you have Shelley wearing a piece in this ear, and you've got Alexander wearing a piece in this ear, and both pieces look very familiar, as if they're a pair of power beats that they're sharing for the sake of and that's a production thing. Again, this is just funny to me. Other people, whatever, they don't notice this. The sit down is fine. I like that they're still telling me Alex Shelley is upset about not being given the spotlight. He didn't get the first question. He's saying that Alexander's trying to get out of his title shot because he took the match with Kaun and Diener, was there to potentially knock him off being 100%. And then Josh Alexander starts making the transitional comments, transitional champion comments, and Shelley just goes apeshit and leaves. And he goes after Josh Alexander. And I had to remember for a second, and this is where it was smart. They started the promo with Scott D'Amore saying, you're both in the building, but because you two can't keep your hands off each other, you're in different rooms tonight.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, oh, okay, that's how they beat the shit out of each other in the same scene, because they set it up that they're in the same building and anything can happen. I respect that they did that. What do you think of the sit down?
I thought, I mean, to me, it's just Josh Alexander doing the same thing that Bully Ray did to him, because this is very much cut and dry. Bully Ray, like, I understand what it takes to be a champion. I held this company on my back. You got all these people. You're tired. I get it. But I do agree with Josh Alexander telling Shelley, bro, you think you're a transitional champion. That's why you're fucking mad. Oh, sorry. That's why you're mad. That's why you are acting this way. And I think that to an extent, that's a valid criticism. But at the same time, I think that Josh Alexander made another good point. Like, your fingerprints are all over this industry, all over this promotion in particular. I think it would be unwise to take the belt off of Shelley right now. I wouldn't hate a Josh Alexander, Alex Shelley 2 out of 3 sort of situation. When we get to the third time that this happens, you have Alexander maybe win it at the top of the next year. Maybe. But I think Alex Shelley deserves to be champion for a while. I do. I think that he's a good champion. And there's nothing wrong with Motor City Machine Guns getting the shot, because they literally built Impact TNA from when it was dirt, dog. So.
And if you want to build something, Fightful Select is the best $5 in the business. I didn't have a good transition. You gave me a bunch, and then you settled on the thing you said. I was like, all right, that's what I got. Sorry, Cresta.
He said you can build together our knowledge on wrestling at Fightful.com for $5, the best $54 a year in the business.
FightfulSelect.com. Get your news exclusively through us, because we get it right. It's what we do. You want to hear about Roman Reigns' creative plans post Vince Kennedy McMahon's ousting? We got him on FightfulSelect.com. Serena Deeb was backstage at Collision last week. We have the details over on FightfulSelect.com. And of course, Ask Grapsody, Sean Ross Sapp's Q&A, the Weekender podcast featuring Steven Jensen, who will be with us this Saturday after Bound for Glory on the main channel, talking about Bound for Glory along with myself and Cresta Star. He does the Weekender podcast where he covers all the independent wrestling and all of the spoilers you don't get to hear about elsewhere. Or maybe you don't want to hear it and you can just fast forward through it. Anyway, that's available on FightfulSelect.com. And of course, Sour Graps, if you want the sour side of wrestling. You've got Alex Pawlowski and you've got the one and only Miss Kate Fabe. They are over on FightfulSelect.com. Coexisting After Dark with Rob and Maggie. They drop episodes as well over on FightfulSelect.com. Best $5 in the business, best $54 a year in the business. Go get at it right now. Have you done it yet? Did you do it? FightfulSelect.com. Are we done? We got a main event.
Yeah, brother.
Get your Humper Chats in. Get your Super Chats in. Let's get to it. Giselle Shaw, Savannah Evans take on Trinity, Mickie James. Trinity and Mickie James get the victory here. It's Mickie James's night, but not after Trinity basically moves through the entire matchup on her lonesome. This is a good match. I actually really enjoyed that Trinity did do most of the match, and I really enjoyed that they denied the hot tag to Mickie James twice. And eventually had Mickie come in, do the House of Fire, and then they did a little double teaming to get the victory. The Mick DT on Savannah Evans gets the win. What do you think of Giselle Shaw and Savannah Evans versus Trinity and Mickie James?
Giselle Shaw and Savannah Evans take hateration and holleration in this dancery to a whole new level. Trinity's still doing her entrance. Everyone's having a good time. Her and Mickie both got in the cowgirl hats, and they're like, knock it off. I'm tired of this. You took 30 seconds too long. Poor Jay Vidal trying to help Savannah, not Savannah, I'm sorry, Giselle Shaw. He ends up yeeting her damn near off the ring like he was trying to take her out just for Trinity to hit the crossbody. I do agree that it was really smart to keep Mickie James out of that match. You could say, oh, maybe on purpose, maybe not. But the hot tag spot, the first one where she gets the tag and the ref is like, get out the ring because he didn't see it, I thought that was brilliant because that's really frustrating.
Yeah, I have nothing to add to that. It was just a really well done match. It was a solid back and forth. And on top of it, you didn't have the dissension between Mickie and Trinity until the end of the match where they play. I don't love the tug of war gimmick, but at least here it was like, so remember, I don't know if you remember this. There was going into WrestleMania one year where it was Roman versus Brock, which I know is like every WrestleMania from the last.
I'm about to say, which would be more specific.
I want to say it was 5 years ago, but they did a tug of war finish to Raw where it's just them grabbing at it, and like the title is close to their heads as they're both staring at each other, fighting over the title. It's very cheesy and it looks awful. They did not do that tonight with Mickie and Trinity. They made it look like Mickie wants that title, that she deserves to get it back, and Trinity's like, over my dead body. That worked for me. That looked good, and that's why it's on the thumbnail tonight, because it looked good. It works. So I'm looking forward to the match. It looks like it's going to be a respect match. I wouldn't hate one of them cementing themselves as a heel after the match.
I think it's Mickie. I think it'll be Mickie.
I do too. And I love the idea of Mickie running a heel stable or just being a heel in Impact, because we haven't seen that in a very long time, if ever in Impact. I'm trying to remember in the back of my head.
Not since I've been watching. The most heelish thing Mickie James has done is kiss the girl. I kissed the girl and I like the
MK Ultra has proven that that's not a heel thing anymore.
Yeah.
But regardless, Mickie hasn't been a heel in a very long time, and this is an opportunity for her to do that. So we'll see what they do. Regardless, we may as well run down this card. But first, we got a super chat from Dex Baker saying Giselle's improved so much for her and her faction is working. Do you see her winning gold or silver in Impact, as it would be, before Bound for Glory 2024? First of all, we put over Giselle Shaw so much, especially over the last year. When we started doing this show, Cresta, we weren't totally sold on Giselle Shaw. Things have changed. She's put in the work. She is getting out there. She is doing great stuff. Cannot say enough positive things about her. She gets out there. She does media extremely well. She's a great ambassador for the company. And on top of that, there will come a time where she deserves that Knockouts World Championship. Will she get it in the next year? I could see it easily happening. What about you?
I could actually see Giselle Shaw grabbing the Digital Media Championship on some shenanigans. And that'll be a reign of terror. And I think that'll be like the true test of skill, if you will. But I could absolutely see her being a tag champion with Savannah Evans. I don't know if that's like, that'll probably be a next year thing. World champion, I want to see how this stable goes first. But Digital Media Champion, even X Division for cheat, I could see it. Because I could see it. That stable's full of shenanigans. I could see. I don't know what championship, but knockouts maybe towards the end of next year. But I think like the DMC or X Division, she could absolutely take.
Here's the big question. If and when she wins the Knockouts World Championship, Giselle Shaw, babyface or heel? Good guy or bad guy?
Well, I think it depends. Right now, her doing it as a heel makes sense, but she could have one of those character development moments where she's like, actually, you kind of suck, so I'm going to do the right thing, So maybe, but she's such a good heel. Like, it's that cocky confidence of that it plays well into her. But I think she could be a babyface, but she's a good heel. Why mess up a good thing?
Yeah, I know, but eventually you're going to get to the point where she's going to get cheered. I don't know when it happened because it isn't happening yet, but it's always in the back of my mind.
I just think find somebody who they hate. Oh, she'll get cheered. Her versus Alicia Edwards. Who you cheering for?
I don't want that match to happen. Please don't put that on. Please don't do it. Stop it.
I'm just saying. You want people like Alicia Edwards is doing what she needs to do to be an insufferable heel. So no matter who goes against her, it's like, yo, I don't know who you are. You could be wrestling a piece of paper. I'm cheering for that paper.
But the character Alicia's doing is so good.
It is. It's so good. She's like Dominic Mysterio. You want to hate her. So no matter who she's across from, they're going to get cheered. So yeah. I could see that be the situation where it's like, damn, you gonna make me cheer for Giselle Shaw? I'm definitely not cheering for you. Shaw.
We got a packed Bound for Glory. Let's go down the card real quick, give our predictions, and then we'll get out of here. Monsters Ball match, PCO, Rhino, Steve Macklin, and Moose. We saw 3 out of 4 of those people in tonight's episode. And of course, Macklin showed up in a match, but what did you think? What do you think? It's PCO, Rhino, Macklin, and Moose.
Macklin. I feel like we're going to start getting Macklin back on track. Macklin's been showing up. It's going to be a good match with PCO, Rhino, Macklin, and Moose. I see it being Macklin. Moose is going to cheat. Moose is going to be mad, but I see it being Macklin. Yeah, even with a dick punch, I see it being Macklin because that's definitely happening.
I hate his guts. He knows this, but Steve Macklin should win. He should pin PCO, and he should hold that shit over Bully Ray's head.
Yes.
Be like, I did something you couldn't do. And he should take it too far.
Yes.
He should basically write off PCO because, again, if the rumors are true and PCO is finito bandito tonight or at Bound for Glory, then let that be the end of PCO. Have Macklin finish PCO and be like, I did what you couldn't do, you coward.
Yeah, you got it all, and now you're over here helping people. You're getting soft, Bully Ray. You said, do we know who you are? Do you know who you are, Alex Shelley?
I like it. MK Ultra, Killer Kelly, Masha Slamovich. They take on Deonna Purrazzo and Tasha Steelz, Team Adams for the Knockouts World Tag Team Championships.
I want MK Ultra to win. I do love a Tasha Steelz. I do love a Deonna Purrazzo. I think it's going to be them because they just formed a team, but at the same time, put some respect on MK Ultra's name. But I think this might be the one where they change hands, and I'm very sad.
I think MK Ultra is going to retain.
I want them to. I don't care. I'll be wrong for this. But I feel like if they just put this team together, it doesn't make sense for them to go against MK Ultra to get beat up.
If MK Ultra does retain, I then get to make fun of Tasha Steelz for ruining my streak.
I got MK Ultra in my heart, but I'm going to go on record and say Deonna Purrazzo and Tasha Steelz. That's just what it's giving.
I mean, I get it because this is one thing that Impact does is they throw together a tag team and give them the tag titles.
Yeah.
So I don't want it to happen, but I understand the feeling. Impact World Tag Team Championships. These are not thrown together teams. Rascals, Trey Miguel, Zachary Wentz take on ABC, aka the Ace of Bays, Ace Austin, Chris Bay. Are they getting its title back over in the Bullet Club world?
I think there's shenanigans. I think the Rascals retain. I think the Rascals' reign of terror continues. I think they retain.
I could see Myron Reed showing up a day early and getting involved in this match because Myron Reed's going to be part of the tapings the next night. What a way to introduce him than having him get involved in the
because one of the good hands is going to be there because the other one's on paternity leave. So
that is something to think about. Although paternity leave in wrestling is like 1 week.
Okay, well,
well, I mean, he's been a month, but anyway, the point is, I could see Rascals retaining on this as well.
Okay.
But with shenanigans.
Yeah, definitely. This isn't clean.
No, and then maybe have Austin and Bay split up for a little bit. Have them go singles for a little while. Start doing some other stuff.
Okay.
Have Austin go after the X Division title. Have Chris Bay go after the world title. But that's
I like that. I like that a lot.
Just spitballing. Who knows? Maybe Quadzilla wants that world title. Maybe Bay wants the X Division. Who knows?
Not Quadzilla.
That's his name. Can't really.
It's true. That man's quads is large.
Call your shot, Gauntlet. Winner gets a trophy and the dinky trophy gets me every year. And they also get a contract that they can use anytime for a championship match of their choosing. So far, the confirmed Gauntlet entrants: Jake Something, Dirty Dango. Jake Something enters number 1. Dango enters number 20. Champagne Singh, Eric Young, Jordan Grace, Brian Myers, Kiera, KiLynn King, Jody Threat, Bully Ray, Joe Hendry, Frankie Kazarian, Kenny King, Giselle Shaw, and Edward Edwards. So we have 5 open slots. Feels like Jake Something's gonna win though.
Yo, I was thinking the same thing. I feel like this is a Jake Something match. I think that from this we're gonna push Jake Something for real, and whoever wins, there's no Josh Alexander. There is that match. I don't know, but whoever wins, that's gonna be their first challenger.
Who are the 5 people? The 5 extra entrants in this match. So CM Punk.
Yo, okay. So I know this is the one show that y'all come from refuge from CM Punk talk, but indulge me a minute.
I will
humor me and me.
Cresta Star. I will quit.
When I say I will audibly laugh loud enough to break the sound barrier, well, you'll hear it in Canada. I will laugh because wrestling is all the work and that proves it. So please stop taking it so seriously. Now, I can't believe I'm about to say this on national television. CM Punk is a draw whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not. Devin Chicago, that would pop a rating for sure. I don't know what the hell he gonna do. I don't know how they gonna pay him. But I would audibly laugh and hope that he does something good for Impact. Because quite honestly, whether you like him or not, he's a draw. I like Impact. I've been watching Impact for a solid year. Shout outs to Fightful for that. And I think that the more eyes on Impact, the better. Even if he's in there for a solid 3 weeks for 3 weeks cheeseburgers and some hot dogs. I don't know. Like, I don't want to put that into the universe. I know people are going to feel mad, but it's going to put eyes on the product. And sometimes you got to think about the bigger picture.
So, for real, I do think that Jonathan Gresham will be a part of this thing. He's not listed, at least on Wikipedia, but he could be. And someone in the chat saying Juventud Guerrera, he's part of that Hispanic Heritage Month, everyone's going to lose taping. So him and Samurai Del Sol could easily be 2 of the that's three out of the 5 right there that we just called. So who knows?
Maybe a returning somebody.
Well, no, Jake Something's already in the match.
But still, just because they return doesn't mean that
I was making somebody
right over the head.
Diener and Kaun aren't listed in this thing yet. They might show up, one of them. So who knows? Who knows?
Madman Full.
I wouldn't be the first time. Jake Chris could show up again.
That's true. ODB could finally get her shot because she missed Impact 100.
God bless that woman. She got a shout out by Mick Foley on Hot Ones today.
I didn't get a chance to watch. I was honky tonking all day.
Go watch it. It's a good episode. I see people mentioning Su Yung. We've mentioned Su Yung so many times that I am going to stop mentioning Su Yung as a returning anything.
Taya Valkyrie.
I don't think Taya Valkyrie is going to be there.
I don't think her contract's up, but that'd be funny. That would be funny.
Yes, it would. Trinity versus Mickie James for the Impact Knockouts World Championship. This is a match that has a lot of back and forth opportunity. Like you said, if Mickie James is the one turning heel, I could see her winning this match. I don't know where Trinity stands under contract. We talked about this being it, but she's going to the UK. She's clearly having a good time with Impact. I don't know what her aspirations are moving forward. We do know that if she decides that WWE is somewhere she wants to return to, the door A is open, and B, it's more open now than it was this time last year when Vince McMahon was forcing his way back through it.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to believe that Trinity retains here. Mickie James goes heel, and begins to harass Trinity. And much like with the Josh Alexander, Alex Shelley situation, I think that it comes to like a 2 out of 3 or a 3-match stint, and Mickie James will eventually take it off of Trinity. But Trinity, I think at that point, will be champion for like a year or whatnot. I could be wrong. I feel like she's had it for like 6 months.
Trinity's had it since was it Slammiversary? My brain hurts.
My brain hurts too. I'm ready for a nap. I'm ready for a sleep.
Anyway, she is. Yes.
Yeah, I think Trinity is definitely winning, but I think that it definitely turns Mickie James heel.
Okay. Why does this keep coming up? Oh God, it came up with the other Trinity. That's so frustrating.
You gotta put Trinity Fatu.
That's so silly. Why would you do that? Anyway, she won at. Why am I doing this? Slammiversary. Yeah. Slammiversary. I was right. I'm not crazy.
What was that?
That was July.
Oh, so she just got it. Okay.
Yeah. And like Trinity's booked for November as well when they do the Mexico shows, because I'm sure that was something she wanted to do as well, which, good on her. So
yeah.
Chris Sabin defends the X Division Championship against Kenta. We haven't seen Chris Sabin in a hot minute, so that's fun. I could see Kenta winning this match. I've made this joke before. There's a part of me that really wants it to come true for the lulz. Kenta wins the X Division Championship. CM Punk comes out. Punk says, I want that X Division title. Kenta versus CM Punk, January 4th in Tokyo Dome for the X Division title. New Japan, Impact working together again.
Again, I go back to what I say. No matter how you feel about the man, he's a draw. And I'm all for more eyes on Impact. And bro, why are you working yourself into it? You just laugh. Just laugh. Just laugh. Because that's what you gonna do. What you gonna do? You not gonna watch? You not gonna watch? You not gonna watch?
I mean, I'm gonna quit the show. We've talked about this.
Joel, just like you guilt trip me into Saturday, be your DMs every week. Like Joel Pro, bring that ass back.
Coming to work, bro? You coming to work, bro? You coming to work, bro? Yeah, my $5 a month has to go somewhere. Will Ospreay takes on Mike Bailey in the sponsored match of the night. This is going to be such a fun match. I don't even care who wins. Like, nobody loses at this point.
Yeah.
Will Ospreay is going to get the pinfall victory.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. This is going to be such a good match. Even if they want to be like, yo, Gresham Khan, I know where to be a piece of shit, which I don't think it'll happen. However, this is going to be a good match. No matter who wins, it's going to be Will Ospreay. But no matter who wins, I'm the winner. Me, the wrestling fan. Cresta, Mark, and Star.
Wow, I didn't know you had two middle names and one of them was traditionally a men's name.
Listen, nothing's traditional about professional wrestling, baby.
Yeah. Listen, would I like Speedball to win and represent Impact? Yes. Do I think
Yes.
Ospreay needs to come in, have a dominant, not dominant, but have a good match and win so that he can look good going into the UK tour and turning point? Yeah, I do. So we got that going. Alex Shelley in the main event defends his Impact World Championship against Josh Alexander. There's a part of me that thinks Shelley's going to retain because this, you kind of said it, do a best 2 out of 3, but then you've got Shelley wins this one, Alexander wins the next one, and then Alexander successfully retains against Shelley in the rematch.
Yeah, something to that effect. Let's say Shelley, because it is showing that Shelley's cracking a little bit. So let's say he does retain here. Josh Alexander gets a rematch, and right when Shelley's about to pin him, right when Alexander's about to win, Shelley fucking cheats. Yo, Cresta, stop swearing. That was funny in the swear jar tonight, girl. Shelley cheats, and then the third match, Josh Alexander wins. So I don't know how that's gonna work out, but my heart says Shelley wins. My brain says Alexander's going to get back something he never lost. There has to be one championship title change on this match, on this card. So this one could be it too.
It feels to me like if we do Shelley losing to Alexander, if Alexander gets that title, then we got to go to Macklin. And I'm not ready for Macklin.
Yeah, I'm not ready for that yet.
I don't think because they just did a one-on-one match that basically got Alexander the number 1 contendership. This is Shelley winning. That lets him be kind of a dick for a little bit longer.
Yeah. I do want to see a heel Shelley. I think that'll be fantastic.
And Dobby the Brain Heenan sends us a super chat that'll probably run us out. And that is, I need a solid run with this paranoid heel version of Alex Shelley. Could be incredible with new babyface challengers along the way. I agree. And that is why I could see it working out, that this heel champion just takes on all the baby faces. But then they got to get to Moose, because Moose is another one who's got a title match on the horizon. And I don't know what that's going to be like. I don't know if they're going to turn Moose. I doubt that they will, but someone's eventually going to have to face Moose. I don't want them to run back someone wins the title and Moose wins it right away, and then we're off to the races. So, who knows?
Oh, man, like he did last time on Josh Alexander in front of his wife and kid. That is a very Moose thing to do.
I called that weeks before it happened. And then I reiterated it live before as it was happening, and people were just on my ass about it. And they were like, how did you put this into fruition? Like, what did you do? What do you do? I just said, it made the most sense. It got the most heat. It was perfect. And it was. The storytelling was fantastic for those guys.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's Impact for August 19th, 2023. We'll be back here on Saturday. Myself, Cresta Star. I'm going to force her to come to work here on Impact. And Steven Jensen, of course, is going to come from the paywall. I mean, he does a show on Thursdays here as well on the main channel. But either way, the three of us are going to be here covering Impact Bound for Glory. Fightful Select, we will hopefully have some scoops coming into the show for you, maybe coming out of the show too. But either way, keep it locked. Best $5 in the business. So go subscribe now. Cresta Star, what you got going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, we normally do the wrestling Baldur's Gate run, but our Randy Orton friend is at a Bruins game, and he's assigned to be a real life person instead of a fake person. So that's not happening tonight. But you can find me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday over on twitch.tv or tiktok.com/CrestaStar. On Thursdays and Saturdays, I am here with Joel Pearl. And Saturdays, apparently, I'm here with Joel Pearl again. Most of the time, you can catch me on the Collision show and the Post Impact show. If that was a lot, Cresta D Star on X, Twitter, Elon Musk Raps personal playground, whatever it is. See you there. I'm tired. Joe Pearl, take us home, baby.
Jeremy Lambert and I get in the weeds every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday over on FightfulOverbooked.com. Go to youtube.com/FightfulOverbooked. Subscribe to that channel. Tomorrow, Vinny Pacifico is going to join us. If you haven't seen Vinny Pacifico, you're living under a rock, because he's everywhere. He's been on our show a bunch of times, but he'll be joining us at 11 a.m. Eastern. And of course, we'll be talking about everything, because that's what we do. We're a morning show, 10 a.m. Eastern till noon, talking about wrestling over on Fightful Overbooked. And of course, subscribe to us here at youtube.com/Fightful. I am at Joel Pearl, JoelPearl. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you on Saturday for our post Bound for Glory show, I guess. Yeah. Okay, cool. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.